Here we go. Drum roll. Yeah. Oh, so fresh. So fresh. Yeah. Woo! Everybody showed up today. And the crowd goes wild.
What do you mean, everybody? We're still missing somebody. We're missing our favorite Canadian.
Oh yeah, where is Hewlett?
Actually, my second favorite Canadian.
All right,
I'm sorry.
Oh damn, who's your first?
Maple syrup Moz.
Oh my god, he's like number 3 for me. For me, it's like David Hewlett, Miss Liz.
I don't know. Oh, that's right. I forgot Miss Liz is Canadian too. Okay, so I have to reshuffle my listing. Because
you can't be putting maple syrup mods above Miss Liz.
I mean, he's a pretty cool guy, man. I gotta say. Have you seen some of his PC builds? It's fucking amazing.
All right, let's see. Okay, I got my activity feed up. I think we're good there.
I have to get to the chat.
Let me do the little read. Yes, everything. By the way, David Hewlett will be joining us today.
Maybe
if we let him.
If we let him.
Oh, that's true. We can kick him out. Like we can. So he's
we got to make sure his visa application is all filled out and stuff. Okay.
Yeah, we need his credit card number.
I need to consult with my lawyers over about this international stuff.
That's right. International super spy. Super spy. All right, here I'm going to go share out the Zine tweeties.
Oh, nice notifications. What's up? Hello from Denmark. Right on. What's up?
Yeah, right. We
got how are the Danes doing?
Hey, what's up, gaming Maddie rocks?
Yeah.
You got Patrick Carrillo hanging out.
Oh no, wait. Whoa, wait. The Patrick Carrillo? That's Carrillo, perhaps.
Yes, that guy. Yes.
Whoa.
The one that has the porn stash. That guy. Yeah. He's awesome. He's awesome.
That's amazing.
By the way,
Chivo Hunt, man, what is this? Xbox 360? Come on. Robbie the Robot. I know that guy.
I like Space Delta 10 Blast It. That's like a whole sentence in there.
Whoa.
Like imagine introducing yourself like that. You go into Starbucks, like, sir, can I get your name for your order? Whatever. I am Space Delta 10 Blast It.
Sir, this is a Wendy's.
You know what would be funny though? Here, this would be funny. Somebody do this and post a TikTok of this. Go into Starbucks, order a coffee, and then when they ask you for your name, give them like a short name, but then just keep giving them another word and see how long it takes before they stop writing it down. So they'll be like, "Oh, what's your name? My name is Jerry," and then say Jerry, and then be like R, and then be like Bird, and like Junior, and like the third.
Give him like a long ass. There's one. So I watch Critical Role, or I mostly listen to the podcast, but whatever. I'm sure everybody knows about Critical Role.
Is that the Felicia Day thing?
No, that she has been a guest star, but it's a bunch of nerdy ass voice actors who sit around and play Dungeons and Dragons on Thursdays.
Okay, yeah, I've heard of it.
It's blown up into a humongous thing. Really helped light the fire behind the explosion of D&D 5e in the last 4 or 5 years. They've been monumental in the mainstreamification of Dungeons and Dragons. I think they've been integral in it at least. Whatever. There's one guy, Percival von Musel. No. What's the guy's name? One of the characters they play is Percival von Musel. Frederickstein. Hold on.
Anybody's got a name of Vaughn in it.
Here it is. I couldn't remember it. So the guy's the character's full name is Percival Frederickstein von Musel Kowalski de Rollo III. Percival Frederickstein von Musel Kowalski de Rollo III.
That dude don't mess around, man. That dude don't mess around.
And the guy, the person behind the character is great too. He's really cool. They're all really cool dudes, but man, it's funny stuff.
Hey, we see David in chat. He said with you momentarily. He's got to boot up the Mac. He said Jerry R. Ferd the Third.
Yeah,
Jerry R. Ferd the Third. All right, I'm tweeting out. Are you guys all tweeting out? You got to tweet this out. Okay, if you can hear what I'm saying right now, that means that you need to go and tweet this out. So go to your Twitters and your YouTubes, whatever they call it on YouTube. I don't know what they call post on YouTube, just a post, or do they have a fancy name for it now? Everybody's got a fancy name for everything on every platform now. So
it's like a community update, I think, on Twitter.
So do a community
on YouTube,
update,
right?
And then update your feeds, and then go to Reddit, and then do 4chan. 4chan, and then what's the other one that we want to post on? Ashley Madison.
Hey, thanks, King.
Whoa. Here, we'll get it. Yeah. You give us the money, you get the jingle. Yeah, Kang. Or is it Kang or is it solid K? Is it hang? Like hung? Like hang when?
No, it's got to be
So Kang Wen just gave us $20. Make us holler. He said, "Hi, Jerry in Houston. So glad to see you guys." Or wait, hold on. I got to read it in the child voice. I was doing this yesterday on stream. People are getting a kick out of it here. Let's see. Okay.
Oh, nice. I can't hear your desktop audio, but that's fine.
Okay.
I don't need to.
You know what? I'm going to tie that in one of these
else.
days because I think you do need to hear. Actually, wait. Do I have desktop audio enabled on here? Here, say something.
I'm going to say something.
Oh, it's okay. Next time I do it, I know how to do it. I just have to push unmute on desktop audio. I just can't do it because you're coming through on that channel.
Oh, yeah. I have to be quiet, right?
Yeah. That's what it is because the two channels. So all I need to do is figure out in the program we use, what is a Video Ninja. I have to figure out how to have it not create a separate audio stream because then the web page will just put the audio in with system audio. And it won't mix in with my mic audio because right now you're mixing with my mic audio on one channel through VDO, like both of our mics are being mixed together. And then when I enable system audio, you're also coming through system audio along with whatever's playing. So you basically get, I'm on one channel and system audio is on the other, but you're on both of them. So I got to figure that shit out. I'll get it though. I'll get it. Thank you. Kang Wen. We appreciate that money, man. That's awesome. Happy Christmas. Happy Christmas. I don't know. Am I allowed to say that? I forgot.
Yeah, why not?
Okay, we're still allowed to say Christmas and Happy New Year and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I'm not religious. I don't do anything, but I still love Christmas. I love the word Christmas. I love Christmas trees. I like presents.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's okay to like that stuff, even if it's like not specifically what you're into.
Yeah.
I think it's fine. Let's see. Okay, so David Hewlett, let me save this. Okay, guys, I'm still sending out all the links as you guys should be doing right now during the warm-up phase of this program, because I basically notifications have been going out lately though, which is nice. Yeah. Like it's too bad that it took this long for it to start happening. But no, I noticed even on Twitch, last night I streamed, I think it was 6, and I noticed that I had like 400 people, and I usually don't have 400 people anymore. Wow. It was like 480 at one point, and I was like, wow. And a lot of people in chat were like, hey, I got the notification this time. Oh my God, I got the notification. So it's just a crapshoot, man. It must have been, I must not have had anything in the offensive in the title for once. I must have just picked like the perfect words. Yeah, because that's one thing you got to do. Like, actually, here, low key tip for all you aspiring live streamers and content creators: pick your words very carefully when creating titles. When creating descriptions, because these systems have so much shadow banning capability to basically, like, without you knowing it, you will not know it unless you look at analytics like a week later. You will think, oh, my content's posted. Why is it not doing good? Why are people not getting notifications? Why are people not seeing the video and come back? Even my subscribers, even the ones with notifications enabled. It's because you used a word that triggered a mechanism in the system that just buries you. It deboosts you out of search. It deboosts you. So you basically can't be found easily unless somebody goes directly to your page, goes to videos and clicks on it. As a matter of fact, one of the streams we did that did absolutely horrible. I think like 100 people showed up for the whole thing. I was like, what did I do wrong? And I looked and I had the controversial, like 3 words were controversial. One of the topics I put in the title. And so I went through chat down at the bottom and people were like, man, I had to go to your page to find this. Hey, I had to find your link on Twitter. You know, it's like they didn't get the notification, even though they said they have the bell even checked. And so I did it myself. I went and looked under I always have another account that I can go check so that I can sanity check things. Smart. So I log in under my second YouTube account that's unaffiliated, not linked to the other ones, and where I subbed to myself. I basically subbed to myself on the other account, and I looked, and sure enough, it didn't show any new videos and subscriber content.
And it means you always have 1 subscriber.
that too. That can be the case.
No matter how bad things get, you know that you're at least following yourself.
Look at this David guy down here with this nice, clean little basement with new lighting. And look at this fancy place, man. Like I don't even recognize you anymore.
It's getting a little tidy. I just need a haircut. I'll look like a real decent human being.
Where's the eyeball robot?
You're a real boy now.
Eyeball robot. Oh, he was moved over. I was using him as a camera tripod to film my. I had a little camera on it to make sure that my 3D print didn't explode during the night.
Nice.
Oh, this is funny. Off topic. I'm sitting here on Twitter and I see a tweet pop up, and it's a guy named Matt BM FVR, and he posted a little video of him shoveling the driveway, but he's got VR on with augmented reality. So he's seeing what he's doing as he's like mowing lawn, but he has this huge like rodeo drive-in theater screen with his movie playing. So he's out shoveling the lawn, in his house is just a giant TV where he's watching a movie while he's shoveling. Well, not shoveling the lawn, sorry, the driveway. You don't shovel the lawn. But I thought that was funny that he's actually sitting out there shoveling snow and he's watching TV on this giant virtual screen floating in space.
That's gonna be us, man. We're all gonna have that like dazed, lost look all the time.
Dude, we're gonna look back and WALL-E is gonna be a documentary. Like WALL-E is going to be like the actual future. We're all just floating around in hover chairs with our VR glasses on.
Oh yeah.
They break one day and we notice we have like swimming pools and stuff. Like, where did that come from? I never saw that. I was
It's
born 4
bizarre.
years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, but in a way, like, is that it? Have we transcended? Are we just brains now?
No, I do.
Yeah.
Maybe
I was
that's
like-
the end game though. Like,
my granddad, my dad's dad, I remember him telling my dad a story about how like human evolution, we're eventually just going to become a giant ass and a thumb, like a thumb to push a button to do whatever, and an ass
won't
to
even
sit
need
on.
that.
And
I
that's
thought you were gonna say you put the thumb somewhere.
and that's all
Thumb to
human
shove
beings
it.
are going to be, a thumb with an ass on it.
Well,
Oh my
eventually we're just
God.
going to be an ass with a brain, aren't we? Like just an ass with a brain sitting on top of it.
I always thought that was funny.
You won't
funny
need the
image.
thumb.
Yeah,
Oh,
right.
No, you
yeah.
need the thumb to shove it somewhere. That's what the thumb is for. Is like when you cross that line.
You need the middle finger too, just to like give it every so often.
Yeah,
to
it's
make
actually
sure.
true. With the thumb and middle finger, you don't need the other ones. I mean, you can use a middle finger as a pointer. As a matter of fact, I remember when I was in
Pointy
school,
finger, I guess. Yeah.
I had a teacher named. It was funny. His name was literally Mr. Fingeretto.
Oh,
And it was
man.
funny because Mr.
That's a
Fingeretto
shame.
was
Oh,
the
that
shop
poor
teacher, and he
man.
was missing his pinky, his ring finger, and his index finger. So all he had was a middle finger and a part of his thumb
That's
on one
a
hand.
racket.
So the kids used to laugh in class because every time he'd point at you with his middle finger, and if he wanted you to come over to the desk, he'd point at you with the middle finger and then flip it around and go like
Come
this,
here.
like come here, and it looked like he was flipping you off. And it's like he knew what he was doing. Like looking back on it, he totally knew what he was doing. It's just nobody could tell him no because he's like, what am I supposed to do? It's the only finger I got. What are you like? Are you anti-disabled people or something? So they left him alone and let him do it. But I just thought it was funny that the guy that this is the thing I don't understand. Why is the guy that teach shop always mortally injured? Why is it always some guy that's missing fingers and stuff? Wouldn't that be the last guy that you want teaching your kids how to use like tools and stuff?
Dude, I bought a motorcycle off a guy in a wheelchair.
Oh my God, dude, that's like if that doesn't say you should change your decision right on site, like
Yeah,
nothing
I was
else
young.
does.
I was like 18, so but
like, did you were you thinking about it? Like when you're looking at him, like, is it insensitive for me to ask? Like, wait a
one
second.
of the
so how
first
did-
things he said
how did
was,
you
"This
write it?"
didn't happen it didn't happen in a motorcycle accident." I was like, "It was an accident of some sort, obviously."
Oh man.
Awesome, man. Oh my God, Space
Oh,
Delta
hey,
10
thanks.
blasted. Thank you for the $2
There's
super
a
chat.
reference to weed. Weed, huh?
Oh,
That's
it's
a
a
new one.
reference. Like okay, so it's not reference, it's a reference to weed. Oh, okay. Okay. So
Plus,
Space
I mean,
Delta
plus
10
one for the
blasted?
pun. Plus one for the pun.
Okay, so it's blasted like I mean, so Space Delta
Testing
10 like
things.
a type, and then blasted is like doing it. I don't know.
What
I'm
is
not,
my-
I'm not
I
very
don't know,
hip into these
man.
things.
Who knows
My
what the kids
camera
are
is
up
so
to
weird.
these days?
Let's ask David. David is the
Hey.
celebrity, so he's the one obviously with the drug addiction. So
Oh,
David,
sure.
like,
Naturally.
how do you? Well, I mean, you have to, right? I mean, if you didn't, SAG will kick
David's
you out. It's a
addiction is
requirement.
robots.
Hey, Johnny Rocket, thank you for the $1 super chat, man. We appreciate every dollar and every cent, you guys. Let's see. Even though we don't pay David because he's a rich Hollywood type, so we just take advantage of him.
Yeah. I beg on my own channels instead.
He,
now.
he
That's
writes
fine.
this off as research.
That's
for
right.
His
Hey,
next movie.
Yeah, it's research.
So David, speaking of,
Why am I so
your
ghostly
payment-
today? My
You're
image
super
is
bright,
so-
man. You're like
I was dude,
overexposed.
yeah, I can't even see. You look
Why
like
is
you look
that?
like powder.
I don't know.
I kind of like it though. There's no wrinkles.
Say I'm your neighborhood
Just
friendly
glow-
ghost.
You're just glowing, David.
Can I
What is your
adjust my-
what is
how
your
do I adjust
skin
my
regimen,
exposure
man?
on
You're
this?
just glowing. I just
Yeah,
it's so
that's weird. I
bright
wonder
and,
why. Like, do you have something really bright on the screen right now? Like, is your screen brightness turned up
Yeah,
to like
you.
90 gabillion? Or
Got you.
oh, well,
If I do this,
I
is
am
that
pretty
better?
bright if I do say so.
I don't know
as
about
well,
that,
but-
man. I don't
Is
know.
that better if I do that?
Oh, this is a little better. Now we can actually see that you have you have mouth lines now.
All right, I'll put you on the other screen then, so it's not quite.
Oh,
so it's
mouth
just your
lines is
bright.
weird.
What
saying
kind of
I'm
camera
pale?
you got?
Are you
What kind
white
of camera
streaming
you
me,
using?
sir?
It's just a little USB camera, but it's
Like a
I guess the
Logitech
screens are a little bright.
C90 or
I can turn
something?
I need an
the- I can turn
adult.
the screen brightness down a bit.
I need an adult.
Actually, you know what's happening is
Actually, that looks a lot better.
David's about to what is it when the
ascend.
Time
He's
Lord
gonna
thing?
ascend.
I'm
he's
gonna
about to-
I'm gonna
you're about to
transcend
resurrect or whatever.
regenerate. Yeah.
Regenerate. That's it. He's about to regenerate.
Yeah,
Oh,
in
dude,
Hollywood,
just
we
know
call
you-
that getting work done.
You can't do
Aye.
a Doctor Who reference when you got David Hewlett in here. It's like Stargate. He's gonna ascend. He's
No,
the
I love
ascended
that.
being.
Are
I'm
you
pretty
kidding?
sure the guy who plays Spock will be fine. He's not going to
Yeah.
be that upset.
Yeah, he'll be all right. He'll be fine.
You're just trying to get us in trouble right now, dude.
Okay.
All right.
Oh my
Okay.
God,
The graboids, they're gonna settle down. It's fine.
Dude, hey, so I heard there's a new Doctor Who. Like, who's the new Doctor Who?
I think
said, like,
Tennant
Jodie is
came
out,
back
right?
for a minute. I saw some hubbub about Tennant being the Doctor again.
No, is he?
But-
Tennant's back
I
with
think-
like a few episodes. I think.
Yeah, I think it was
And then
just
they're
those-
bringing in the guy from Sex Education, who should be freaking hilarious.
Oh, right on.
Or
Oh,
they. I don't know.
I don't even know if
I'm
I
not
know
sure
that
if
guy.
it's
Would
him.
I know him? Is he like super mainstream or?
No, I
Probably
don't think
not.
unless you watch. I can't
A
think
lot-
of anything
a lot
else
of
he was in,
British
but he was in Sex Ed.
stuff.
He was the friend
Okay.
in Sex Ed.
Okay, so he's a British comic.
Mm-hmm.
I actually used to watch a lot of British comedy because I love
good
the
stuff.
humor.
It's
like
fun. Yeah.
like what's that ship called, or the movie called, or movie TV show? God, I'll get it eventually.
Red Dwarf.
Red Dwarf. I
Dude,
love
yeah.
Red Dwarf.
Oh
Holy
my.
shit! I re-find it every couple of years. Like I forget about it, and then I come
Ugh.
back and find it again. And every
So
single time I
funny.
watch it, I'm just like,
I'd
this is
die.
brilliant.
Bits of it, but I've never watched. Like,
Oh man,
I got to sit down with it at some point and just. Like,
it's
binge.
great.
Dude, it's so
Yeah.
good. It's so good.
I don't catch a lot of it because like I'm not. Some of it goes over my head because like I'm not I'm not that
Well, it's
into
also
the
the
culture, right?
Yeah.
But man, it is funny stuff. Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
there's
like
a
a
lot of
culture of their
references,
own.
but you can still follow the references.
Oh, yeah.
like the way they mix it in with other things, and then the context in which they're saying it. Like even if you don't
It's
know the
very
person, you can get an
approachable.
idea of what they're talking about. Yeah,
yeah.
but
Oh,
it's
funny
hilarious.
stuff, man.
Absolutely
Like,
hilarious. It's like
That's right up there with like the Red Green show, right?
yeah.
Like public
100%.
public access style stuff. That is
Yeah.
hilarious.
That's the
Oh
Canadian- that's
man, I
the
loved.
Canadian dinner jacket. That's,
I
yeah, love it.
loved Red
if
Green
you
show
can't
too.
find him useful, or if you can't find him handsome, you should find him handy.
Yeah,
You should just
man.
find him handy.
This is a show where we talk about those three little words that men find so hard to say. I don't know.
what was the red green oath or something? It's like
I'm a man.
I'm a man. I
oh,
did
crap.
something wrong, but I can
No.
change. I swear, or something like that.
If
Like
I have to.
if I have to, I guess.
Okay.
That's what
Yeah.
it is. Red green. What was it called? Oath.
Both. Yeah.
The red green oath. Here we go.
That was Patrick McKenna. I
Oh,
did
it's
a
called
show
the
with
man's
Patrick McKenna.
prayer.
He's
It's the
freaking
man's
genius.
prayer. It's a red
Okay.
man's prayer. All right, here we go. So I am a man,
man.
but I can change if I have, to. I guess. I love it, man. And funny thing is, I just thought about this. Patrick McKenna, the guy who plays Harold,
Yeah,
was
Patrick.
also
yeah.
on Stargate.
Oh,
Patrick did Stargate. Patrick also, and I
Yeah.
also did a show called Traders together. He's like one of those like terrifyingly, brilliantly funny guys. Like where you just like, you
100%.
I just don't know where. he
holy
gets his
cow!
stuff from.
That was
He does improv.
the cousin or whatever, his nephew.
Yeah, his nephew. Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't even
plays-
look like him.
No,
That's
I know.
Same
amazing.
character. He
He
plays the same exact character in
extraordinary.
Stargate. One of those
Wow.
guys where he can play the same character everywhere. So even on Stargate is a scientist. So like the opposite of being the dumb nerd from
Yeah.
it's a scientist.
That's-
It's exactly the same character. It's like if you took Harold and he grew up and you just put him in sci-fi, like he grew up and got a job.
Dude, you should watch. Check out. See if you can find a show called Traders. He is
Called Traders.
like-
unbelievable in it because
Like
he's
national traitor or trade
like
a D?
traders, like
yeah,
trading.
like I'm selling
1996
stuff.
to 2000. Yeah, I found it.
He plays this like scheming asshole of a
wow.
trading guy, like a complete, but you love him. You know what I mean? Even
Oh,
though
I
he's
love
such
it.
a-
I love it.
He's like the Rodney McKay of traders.
Mm.
They-
No. The strange thing is
That's
actually I was
cool.
the Rodney McKay of traders. 'Cause I
Oh,
played
wait, you
this-
were on
I-
that show.
I played
Yeah.
this. I played this
Oh.
guy who lived in the closet, literally.
Wait, is this the one everybody talks about that you played the autistic role? Is this?
Basically, yeah.
Oh, dude, my buddy Robert Dark Tigger 501. He was the one that told me about this show like 10 years ago, and I forgot. He was the one, even before we had talked.
It was so good. They
He
did
said
such a
that
good job. But it's
he
the
turned me on
problem
to
is
it. I
it's
never
so
watched it.
specific. It's just so specific, right? Like it's the
Mhm.
Toronto Stock Exchange. Like it's not. It's somewhat
Okay.
limited.
Yeah, so
Okay.
it's not like super
Limited
compatible with like the whole
Yeah.
world. Okay, I
I
gotcha.
mean, there's enough of a corollary there with like the New York Stock Exchange. Like,
I
it
mean,
can't be
like,
that
how
much
does it
different.
really change, right?
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean,
Grant
it's a
Jansky,
stock
Vander Payne was
exchange. It's like, is it really
Yeah.
any different? And plus, doesn't our stock exchange have a bunch of international stock exchanges too?
No, it's similar. Like you'd
Isn't it
understand
all the same?
but it was
Think-
just
think
kind of
of-
one of those. It was just one of
exchange-
those, like
It's like
Canadian thing.
an exchange is just it's like a storefront. This is where you go to trade stocks and stuff.
Okay. Okay.
And so
gotcha.
they will only
Do they even
hold
exist
certain
anymore
ones
now?
as like stock exchanges.
but they exist only in digital format. There's not
Oh
actually
no,
people
man!
running
There's,
around.
No,
there's
there's-
people
yeah.
on the floor.
There's
There's
still a
people who
stock board.
it's still done in person live. Yeah,
There's
there's-
obsolete humans running around waving ticker tape,
shouting at each other and throwing
Really?
numbers and stuff. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, man,
that's-
it's
Yep.
crazy.
No,
so
I'm
obsolete.
So I was watching a thing, and there's actually like there's an advantage to it. Like even though it's faster to trade digitally, like when you're on the floor, there's all kinds of like backroom deals that can be had. Like they'll walk up and just start talking. It's so loud, nobody hears anything. So you can go up and just have like a little conversation with somebody close, nobody will hear it. And so people go there so that they can do like, you know, kind of underhanded deals and stuff like that, and delayed deals. Like don't put this in until this time, and don't do this. Well, yeah, basically, it's a good place to do crime.
Crime. Yeah.
But
you got to keep it going
really
for the crime.
Yeah, it's still really busy. Like if you ever just look up like opening stock exchange. And like every day they have an opening, and then after every afternoon they have a closing, like on the day with, you know, during operating hours, and the floor is always like super busy. Like it's never.
I thought it was just purely like, I thought it was sort of like in a kind of a historic way. Like there was still stuff happening there, but most of it's all done computerized.
I imagine most of it is still done.
I imagine there's still like
digitally.
they got the iPad out and stuff. Yeah, but I think it's more for like making relationships and getting information and trading information and stuff. It's like there's still a tangible reason to be there and like communicate.
You know, it's like something I noticed today was, I don't know why it took me this long to figure it out, but watching some World Cup soccer stuff. And when they give the penalties, they write their names in a book. And I'm like, they don't have to write the name. Like they've got all the stats. People are keeping track of all this stuff. But that ref, when he's like, that's it, yellow card. And he writes them in a book. And it's like, it's all pageantry. Like it's all like.
That's weird.
You know,
yeah. Because like, how would you not know you're recording the damn thing? Like nobody's going to forget you gave him the yellow card.
Yeah. They've got freaking like, you know, like graphics on the screen that digitize all the data and, you know, but they're still writing names. I'm writing that's it, mister. You're in my list. You're in my naughty list.
Hilarious. So yeah, again, it's the pageantry, right? Like what? So soccer. Like this is the funny thing is I always thought soccer. This was like my view of soccer was. And before you guys go on the tirade, it's called football. No, it actually isn't. We resolved that last stream. Go watch it. So it is soccer. But when I watched it, I was like, man, I thought that like football, there's a lot of cheating. In football, there's a lot of cheating and like crazy stuff that goes on, deflating the ball, you know, slamming into each other and acting like I didn't touch him. There's all this crap that happens in football that's like, you know, sitting on the edge. So I thought soccer was like a gentleman's game. Like I thought soccer was like, you know, no, dude, I was watching it like a dude like is running by, doesn't even come close to kicking the dude, right?
Tends to fall over.
And he's like,
oh, I hate it.
And I found a compilation on YouTube that was like, I swear it was an hour long. Me and my son were sitting.
It drives me nuts. I hate it.
And it's these people. It's like, and you can see from the camera angle, it's like the dude will kick. He's like a full foot and a half away from hitting the guy. And then it's like a full 2-second delay. Yeah, and he like throws himself on the ground. Oh no,
it's awful.
And then the teammate will run out with like the ice gun and start like icing him down and act like paramedics, like they're doing CPR on him and stuff.
Yeah.
And then the ref will come over or whatever, and he'll be like, he'll throw a card down on him or whatever for like,
and then he gets up.
And then he just gets up and walks away. He's
like,
oh, okay, fine, you caught
and
me.
sometimes they'll lie down for as long as possible. Like, come on, look, it's like it always feels like a child that, like when I used to fall down the stairs all the time or pretend to fall down the stairs, and I'd lie like prone at the bottom of the stairs, and my family, you know, all 5 sisters would just step over me. My parents, everybody just completely ignore me the entire time.
You were born to be an actor, then, huh, David? From the start, you were.
Oh yeah, I was there. I was born for this shit.
It's funny. Then the one day you actually do fall down the stairs, your neck's like broken sideways. They're like, good one, Dave. Good one. And
I had a concussion. No one fucking believed me. They picked me up and they thought I was faking, so they dropped me and I got knocked out again. Literally.
You're in the kitchen throwing up your lunch.
That's a lesson right there.
Yeah,
that's a lesson.
All right, pose. I'm taking a photo for social media.
See, is that like a legitimate problem with being like a known actor? Does everybody just assume that everything you do is pageantry? Like you can't have real emotion and everything you do is just an act?
Well, it's like I tell everyone, you can stop posing now, Ox. We're done. Ox, you're freaking me out.
Sometimes I do that and Jerry thinks my video is frozen.
Yeah.
Oh, were you hold perfectly still? Yeah, it's creepy. It's really creepy.
The kids were doing that to their teachers. They'd on cue at noon, they'd all freeze up.
That's funny. We should just do that. We should just do that randomly for if somebody comes in right then, just all freeze. Be like freeze for 5 seconds.
That's how to get our numbers up.
Because if they're watching on a little screen, you're probably not going to notice the movement, right? It's like if it's a big screen. No, actually, Ox is so good at it that I'm sitting here 2.5 feet away from a 50-inch scrn, and I still can't see him moving when he does it. It creeps.
I'm
me
old.
out, dude.
I shake all the time, so it's like
you're just sitting there. David's over there. He's got the old DTs, and I'm over here like shaking from oxy withdrawal.
I look like I'm waving.
Hey, but on a good front. Hey, speaking of addictions, I'm no longer on oxycodone. I'm on my 3 months.
Hey,
3 months.
Oh,
I'll be
really?
on oxycodone. Yeah.
Wow.
Have you been kicking that for a while?
They put me.
Where's the crowd?
Hey, I went from Schedule 3 down to Schedule 2. Wouldn't you guys be proud of me?
Yeah.
I went
What does that
I went
mean?
from
I don't know what that
oxycodone.
means.
Okay, so Schedule 3 is the most hardcore narcotic class there is in the United States. Like basically, it might as well be heroin.
Other way around.
But it's
Other way around. Schedule 1,
Schedule
like weed,
1.
heroin,
Okay,
things like
so
that.
sorry.
Schedule 2 is like cocaine, things like that.
Weed and heroin's together?
Yeah. Weed and heroin are together.
But here's the funny thing:
because there's no
okay.
accepted medical use according to the federal government for weed. The DEA does not recognize any legitimate medical use for because you can drop down to Schedule 2, which is like cocaine and things, which do actually have heck, my Adderall is a Schedule 2 drug.
Because they hate the Adderall. They won't let me renew it online anymore.
Nope, they changed the rules back.
It's not Adderall.
No, Adderall is Schedule 1 now because you have to have a handwritten script delivered to the pharmacy, and you can only get
maybe
one
they
pharmacy,
temporarily
so
dropped
change it.
They
did change it
because like the doc was always like, bro, if you have if you have another script and from someone else, you got to tell me, or both of us are going to get in trouble. You're going to go to jail. I'm going to lose my license. Like.
No, you have to sign a piece of paper. Here in Washington State, you have to sign a piece of paper that says if you attempt to get Adderall from any other pharmacy than the one that you're prescribed, so that you can't take the same script to like 5 pharmacies with copies. They said if you even attempt to do that, and the system will lock you out, and you will never be able to get it again. Like you'll be blacklisted, and the doctor can't even prescribe it anymore.
And most of the time,
how do I know this will happen? It happened to me because the pharmacy didn't have when I first got it. Within like it was about a year. I had it for about a year, and the pharmacy didn't have it. The pharmacy, just like I'm going through this right now. There's a shortage of it across the United States.
I need to get back.
So I called the pharmacy, and they're like, "Sorry, we can't fill your script because we don't have it. And we don't know when we're going to get more." And this is a long time ago. And now I'm going through it now. I have to do the same thing now, but now I know what to do. They said, "Hey, call this other pharmacy. We know that they still have it in stock." So I called the other pharmacy that was down the street, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we have this in stock." So I go give them my script. I had a handwritten script. I take it over there and I give it to them. They put it in the computer. It immediately locks me out. And it says
because you talked to somebody else.
I talked to the person and they entered it into the computer, to see that they didn't have it. But as soon as they showed that prescription in the computer, it added the network that I was trying to renew it at that pharmacy. And then when I went to the other one, it flagged me and locked my account down. And I had to wait 2 days for my doctor to get back from like a weekend vacation so that he could unlock it and resubscribe. And he said, don't do that again. He's like, don't do that again, because I had to make like a lengthy phone call to get that resolved.
Yeah, my dad used to get patients coming in who'd had were on referral number 4 for their pain. They're constantly just there because they're literally just doing the circuit the whole time, just looking at pain meds the entire time.
Yeah. So I was on oxycodone for 15 years, which is a Schedule 1. That's
the hardcore part. Yeah.
And that means that the doctor has to hand write you a script, give it to you, and you have to deliver it to the pharmacy. Like there's none of the digital crap.
Yeah.
So now the drug that they put me on that's replaced is something called buprenorphine, which is a Schedule 2 a drug that's much weaker. And the cool thing about it is you can only absorb so much of it. So even if you eat the entire bottle, you can't ever absorb more than the certain amount.
Oh, really?
And so it's safer. You can't overdose on it. Well, you shouldn't be able to unless you're doing a whole bunch of other shit with it. And I
believe in you, Barnacules.
It's not super potent. So, dude, I was on oxycodone for 15 years and I didn't kill myself. So that should be a testament to I'm doing something right. But they put me on this and it seems to handle the pain actually better overall. It doesn't handle it as good as the oxycodone did in the moment, but overall throughout the entire day, it handles it better. And I only have to do 2 to 3 doses a day instead of like before where I had to do it every 3 to 4 hours. Jesus. So now I can sleep through the night. Sometimes I even forget. I've had days where I've just done 1 dose because I just don't do anything that hurts enough that I have to take another one. So I've been really happy with it. It did cause respiratory problems at first, which I was really worried about. But the doctor was like, "Here's an albuterol inhaler," or whatever. He's like, "People get used to it." And I did. After 2 months now, I'm not having the breathing distress anymore, finally. And we got the dosage.
But it's a pain management. It's specifically pain management.
No. Here's the cool thing about it is it's actually a drug to get addicts off of opiates. Cool. It's one of those intermediate drugs because you only need it. I think its half-life or something is like 72 hours. So
what a great racket selling drugs to get you off the drugs you just sold them.
That's it. Yeah. That's it. But here's what they do is because normally with short-acting opiates, drug talk with Barnacules, with short-acting opiates like oxycodone or Dilaudid or even Vicodin, like even oxycodone, oxycodone.
I can't do Vicodin.
So Vicodin makes me, dude, you'll never poop again. It's just, Vicodin is the worst for that. But anyways, they those opiates only stay in your system. Like they hit max potency within a half hour to 45 minutes, and then they're already wearing off within 3 hours. So, and then at the end of 6 to 8 hours, it's completely gone out of your system, like where it's not active anymore. And so those short-acting opiates, the problem is when you take them, you can experience withdrawal within 8 to 12 hours, which means if you don't take a dose every 8 to 12 hours, you will immediately start feeling the rapid decline in how you feel. Like you'll actually get the shakes. You'll feel like you're going to throw up. It's bad. It sucks. Jeez. Some people get it worse than others. Luckily, I was one that never really got it that bad. I got the worst I ever got was like a mild, like cold, like sniffles and felt achy. Yeah. But so it was never really that bad. But the stuff that they put you on to get you off of that, it's longer. It takes a lot longer to kick. Like it takes like an hour to 3 hours before you feel anything. But then it lasts for 8 or 9 hours, and then it starts falling off really slowly after that. So that by the time you take the next dose and you connect them end to end to end, it's just nice flat pain relief that doesn't change. And you don't feel too drugged up, and you don't feel like not drugged at all. So it's like this nice little line. And by doing that, they hope that you can take like one pill, and then they get you down to half a pill, a quarter of a pill. And then after like 6 months, you're completely off of it, and you didn't have to go through the withdrawal.
Jesus,
so yeah, it takes a long time. You have to go really, really slow when you come off stuff like that, because your body is used to having a new baseline when you take that stuff for a long time. So you have to give it time to like go back. All the time it took it to get that new baseline, you need to give it that time again to go back.
Speaking about baselines, I got to get some coffee.
Get some coffee, man. Get some coffee. But yeah, the buprenorphine is a lot safer.
Cool.
Can't
Great.
be used. Like, doesn't matter if you eat 10 of them or one of them.
Don't do that.
Thing. And so, oh wait, did you just hear David right there?
No. I heard him go for. I was telling you, don't eat a bunch of them.
Oh, don't eat a bunch of them. Yeah, no. Well,
yeah, I'm like, you can, but don't.
Here's the thing. No, this is a trip. So this is cool. This is a cool medical science thing. So they created this drug so it can only be absorbed through under your tongue. If you swallow it, your stomach acid destroys the compound, so you can't absorb it. And so basically, because you can only melt a pill under your mouth so fast, and your membrane under your mouth and your tongue can only absorb so much of a chemical before it
fucking tastes like strawberries or something,
no,
man.
Gross,
like,
dude,
I don't. Oh man,
no, it's gross.
You know how they tell you, put a Tylenol under your tongue or something for heart attacks or whatever. Dude, it tastes. You might as well lick drywall. Yep. It's just pure talcum powder, and it's so gross.
It's freaking gross, dude.
Just thinking about that, it's gonna make me want to vomit.
No, it took me 2 weeks to get used to taking it. Now it doesn't bother me because I'm used to it. But it's like the first time I put it in my mouth, I was like, "How can anybody do this?"
Something like.
Yep. Ugh. So and the other thing,
you could boof it, man. It's not a suppository, bruh. It's like, jeez, come on, man.
So check this out. Here's the other interesting thing about it. It's not only if you swallow it, does it kill it and render it inert. It does nothing if you swallow it.
Good.
But you can only absorb it so fast under your tongue before it clogs up the little pores or whatever that are in your tongue, so you can't absorb anymore.
Yeah.
So even if you put a bunch of it in your mouth, it wouldn't do you any good. And it takes 15 minutes to dissolve the capsule and another 15 minutes to absorb, which means it takes you a half an hour just to take a single dose. Where you can't talk. So this
is the new one.
It's been around for a long time, but it was only used for getting people off of opiates. But they figured out that it actually works really, really good for pain, for chronic pain management. People that have to have 24/7 pain management because they can't treat their thing. They're like, wait a second, it doesn't work as good as like oxycodone at full strength, but what it is, it's more reliable, and you don't get used to it like you do oxycodone. Like it offers the same pain relief after 3 months. So
what Lance is on? If he must,
I've talked to him. He's on the same stuff. I don't think he's on the buprenorphine, but I think he has to take. He definitely has to take opiates to like be able to get comfortable.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
And so, luckily, in the United States, there's a lot of countries where they're not illegal at all, like no opiates at all. And the thing is, people don't realize there's very few classes of pain treating medications.
Yeah,
like opiates are the most effective. That's why they usually use them in anesthesia in hospitals and to keep you comfortable in hospital. Like even places where it's absolutely illegal to have it prescribed, they still use it in hospitals because it's the best and safest drug to use. Like fentanyl, deadly on the streets, deadly on the streets. You touch it, you're gonna die. If you take it on the street, it's Russian roulette. You will die eventually if you do that.
That's so weird. That's so weird thing. I mean, this is totally off topic, but it's super weird to me. Super weird to me that a dealer would would mix fentanyl in with something, right?
It's so cheap.
Okay, it's it's cheap. Sure, it's cheap. Blah blah blah. Whatever. The risk of killing your customer base, though, is what I can't wrap my head around. Like, I don't want to buy drugs that might kill me, right? That's why I don't do like hardcore drugs.
But you're not.
I don't want to die. Like, I understand how people can get to a place where like that isn't a consideration. However, as a businessman, right, I I want to keep my customers alive. I want to keep my customers coming back. Like, I know you're always going to have customers, right? Like weed shops and stuff. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, your customer base is practically built in. You have a product that has an incredibly high demand regardless. However, if word gets out that, man, fucking Stinky Jim's fucking PCP is killing people,
right?
Stinky Jim's not going to be in business for very long. It doesn't make sense to me.
I can answer that question.
It just blows my mind.
No. So the answer to that question is all the dealers, basically, if you do a drug and it's a good drug, you'll go back to that dealer to get it. But if you do another drug and it's more potent from another dealer, then you'll switch dealers, right? So then that dealer has to make a more potent drug or sell his drug cheaper. Fentanyl is so cheap. Fentanyl is the cheapest narcotic in the world. There is nothing cheaper than fentanyl. You can literally buy enough fentanyl to kill 100,000 people for like $1,000. You could kill 500,000 people.
But isn't it like crazy addictive?
It is. Huh?
Yeah, it's like
crazy
hardcore.
addictive.
Yeah.
So what they do is they put a tiny amount of it, and instead of the regular drug, and now to produce that same drug with that same high, or roughly the same high, it costs them like a tenth as much. So they're making 10 times more money, and they're not trying to kill people. Like obviously they don't
want to kill people, but
they're
like
taking
the
a huge risk. Taking a huge risk.
And that doesn't, to me, that doesn't seem like good business sense.
Dude, even the people making it are taking a huge risk. Like there's so
many.
Dude,
you could breathe the dust.
Yeah, accidental overdose from just breathing in the dust in the room because it gets kicked up.
Well, you've got like paramedics and stuff who pick something up.
Absorb it.
Like in their skin. I mean, like it's all sorts of shit.
Yeah, but fentanyl is the fastest. Actually, there's two types of fentanyl, but there's one that's super fast acting. It's like in your system, full effect, 100% intravenously, and I think it's 10 seconds. Through a pill, it's like 10 minutes. It's like that was just super fast for digesting something. And but it only lasts for like 15 minutes to half an hour effective, and then it falls off and you're in withdrawal.
Dude,
so you have to constantly take it.
I remember being in a hospital with my son who'd broken his arm skiing. And we're sitting in there waiting, and this guy comes in and he's like, it's like, dee, and they're like, they're like, clear. They're jamming him with this stuff. Within 5 minutes, he was up and yelling at them and complaining about the fact that he couldn't find his wallet. He was accusing them of stealing his wallet.
Bro, you were dead a minute ago. Like, maybe calm down.
And I saw that one of the paramedics got so frustrated and was like, dude, you were freaking dead. Like you were dead. We've just brought you back and you're accusing us of stealing your fucking wallet.
Yeah,
like
he didn't know he was dead. He just like knocked out and he was awake and he's like, what are all these people doing around me? Like,
well, and why does he want his wallet? Because he's gonna go back and buy the same shit again. Like it's terrifying, this stuff.
Yeah, no, and so that's
Hopefully
the thing.
The shit out of my son too. I'm hoping.
No, that's why so many people die from overdoses, because what they'll do is they'll take a drug so long that every time they take they call it a hot dose, where you take too much, you don't know you're taking too much. Like if you buy it off the street, you could get a dose. They said they've seen it as much as 50x change in dosage between dealers, meaning that where you get one dose from this, there's a dose that's as hot as 50 times as much as that.
Crazy.
You actually, this is the thing people don't realize.
You have like 1 grain and 2 grains of the shit. And
with fentanyl, that's the thing. 1 grain is like max dose. 2 grains, you're dead. You're dead.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And there's no quality control. Like it's being made by,
it's all made in China. All shipped over here from China. No. It's crazy. But no. I think actually pharmacology is hugely underrated as far as like the sciences. Like the fact that they can figure out how these compounds work, how to not extract them but synthesize them. Like, for instance, any opiate you take today, unless you're taking morphine, which is very rare, they only give it to people that have an allergy to the synthetic stuff. Yeah. But morphine, like they used to have to go like milk poppy plants and stuff to make pharmaceuticals. Now they don't. Yeah. They can completely synthesize these substances, like down to the precise molecule in a lab.
Breaking Bad, baby.
Yeah. So it's like they can make this. But here's the thing: people think. This is a common misconception that I want to clear up, because a lot of people have talked to me about this because I talk very openly about the medications that I've taken throughout my life and my medical problems. And people are like, oh my God, that shit's going to kill you. Here's the interesting thing people don't realize. It'll kill you if you go up in massive dose and you keep going up in massive dose.
Yeah.
The truth of the matter is you eventually get to a point where there's equilibrium, where it's actually doing more damage to you not taking it than to actually take it. Yeah. When we're talking about pharmaceutical opiates, if you take the same amount, you end up getting just baseline. You basically get a little bit of pain relief and you get baseline. Without it, your system's out of whack. But here's the thing: is you get people like Rush Limbaugh and shit that get up to where their baseline is hundreds of milligrams a day, where now if they don't take it, they'll go into like such a severe withdrawal that they'll be convulsing. Which
Yeah,
can
it
be
happens with
dangerous.
alcohol too. People can be
Oh,
like
yeah.
you,
The DTs,
you stop
yeah.
people drinking, the same shit will happen. I mean,
100%. You can die
seriously.
from that. A lot of people don't know that. Like if you know somebody who's like an extreme alcoholic and you're like, okay, well, I'm going to lock you in a room and not give you booze, that person can die.
Yeah.
Like the DTs kills about 30% of the people that have it, which means basically
Is it as
what do
high
you
as
call it?
that?
Yeah,
Really?
it's huge. It's like, yeah, like it's absolutely crazy. Like let's see here, what percentage?
I've just started drinking again.
the
It's lovely.
DTs kill. I mean,
Wow.
you have to drink a lot. Yeah, okay, so it's called delirium tremens, and the fatality rate is drum roll 7.2%. So it's a little bit lower than that, but so 7.2%,
A little lower than 30%.
It's still a lot.
What is that?
right?
That's Barnacules math.
Yeah, exactly. So alcohol use disorder. So yeah, the DTs kill a lot of people. So what happens is if you have like alcoholism, and a lot of people will do this, they'll just quit cold turkey. They'll get depressed or they'll get a new lease on life or whatever. And they're like, I'm going to just stop drinking. So they go and throw it away and make it so it's not easy for them to get access to it. And then what happens is the paramedics end up coming to their house and they find them in a coma and they have to take them to the hospital. And once they get to that point, once they're in the actual DTs, their odds of being able to save them are very, very low. So what they say is if you experience extreme withdrawal, like where you're shaking from not getting alcohol, go to the hospital. And what they'll do is they'll give you a drip of alcohol intravenously, and they'll slow it down over the course of 7 days.
That makes
And
sense.
Couldn't you just
Yeah,
get
and
a
then
drink?
titrate off it.
Like, couldn't you just take a drink?
Right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, no, and you
stop
can do that.
drinking vodka and go to
But
beer.
here's the problem: if you're a super alcoholic and you have access to alcohol, you're going to take a drink, and then you're going to be like, "Well, I'll just take another drink. I'll just take another drink."
Oh, I
That's
don't feel it.
unfortunately
I
the
didn't do
addiction
nothing.
mind, right?
That's always
Yeah,
the
yeah.
sign to me when I like at like when you got a friend who you haven't seen for a while, and they're like, "Yeah, I'm just drinking wine and beer now," and you're like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay, I know where you're at."
Yeah,
Yeah.
MPS
Hey,
said alcohol
okay.
is the only drug
You
with
just said
withdrawal that
okay.
can kill you. Not even heroin can do that. That's actually not true. That's another common misconception.
I'd say
opiate
I don't know, man.
No, you can die from opiate withdrawals. It's
I believe
rare.
it.
Can you?
It's very, very rare, but you can actually die from an opiate withdrawal. So it has to be severe though. But here's the other thing people don't know: like how much. Like if I asked you how many pills, like if you've never taken any opiate before, how many medical pharmaceutical grade pills of like the lowest dose that they give you coming out of the hospital? How many of those pills would you have to take to kill yourself if you've never?
A
had
lot.
What is the dosage? What's the dosage?
So let's say 5 milligrams, which is
A
the
lot.
lowest dose.
Oh, dude,
of
fives?
oxycodone. Yeah.
I'd have to take like 1,005 milligrams to die.
Well, it's actually 50, but still 50 is a
Still,
lot that you'd have to take at once.
That's
to kill
more
yourself.
than they're going to prescribe you at once.
Correct.
Like,
Correct. And unless you're you have a tolerance for it,
Dude,
they're not going to give you that much.
I don't even feel fives.
Yeah, you have to take.
Like I don't notice a
250
difference in my
milligrams.
day taking a
I
5
can't take
milligram
them. I just
oxy.
can't take them. I
Well,
just,
they make people sick.
absolutely
They make some people
They get-
violently ill.
They gave me a few. They gave me a few for after my surgery, right? They gave me like 15 of them or something, like 2 weeks thing.
Yep.
I noticed. I'd take one and had no difference. I didn't feel any different. Like
Yeah,
why'd
the
you bother?
problem with
Why'd you even bother giving me these? This is dumb. And my
So-
foot
so-
still fucking hurts and like it
the
didn't
big
do a
problem with
thing.
opiates though is the dependency happens really quickly. That's what makes
I
it so
think-
dangerous.
yeah,
You become dependent on faster than any other drug. Like you can take
Like-
opiates for a week and literally have bad withdrawal after that for some people.
Yeah, I'm sure if I had complained, they probably would have bumped me up because like I have no record or anything. But like
Yeah.
it wasn't that bad either. So like
No, in average, again, they're talking about the extreme cases. There's some people that can completely come off of it with like very little side effects.
Dude, I mean,
so it just
not-
depends on
yeah.
the physiology. But no, it just blows my mind that it took that much. Because I always thought from the way people talk on TV and the PSAs and everything, that it'd be like, oh, if you take 2 pills instead of 1, you're dead.
Nah.
And it's like, no,
You might take a
actually-
nap.
Yeah, and if you're opiate tolerant, it can be as much as 5,000 milligrams if you're opiate tolerant. And a fatal dose, basically, just so people know, it's like opiates don't. It's not the drug. It's not like you take it and the toxicology of it kills you. It's that it suppresses it's a nervous system depressant.
Yeah, your
just
heart
like,
just stops.
your heart just stops and your lungs just stop. They just get so exhausted and so weak. The signals from your brain get so weak that they just stop and you basically just
They get so laid back.
way too laid back.
Yeah.
So,
You know what?
so
Fuck breathing.
So it's not like the toxicology kills you. It's not like, oh my God, I got poisoned or whatever, unless it's tainted. But it's that it just relaxes you too much. And when people have overdoses, it usually presents as they just fall asleep and don't wake up. And
so here's
so always, please, guys, just PSA before we get on another topic. This right here is Narcan. If you have opiates in your house for any reason, please go get this. Like it's very cheap. You can get it at the pharmacy over the counter. You don't need a prescription.
OD thing.
You spray this up the nose of anybody who's overdosing. Even if they stopped breathing, this can get them breathing again.
That's
so definitely keep it around. It's like $20 for a pack of 2 of them,
and that's like that works on fentanyl as well. Like
everything, any opiate, even the buprenorphine I'm on, it'll work. So yeah, no, it's super fast because it absorbs.
Actually, we should
your
have that
sinus
just in
passage.
case some of the kids start God knows they have a fucking teenage party. And
the thing is, it's not dangerous to use if you make a mistake. So like if they're not having an opiate, you just suspect it's an opiate overdose and you give it.
Dad, I fell asleep on the sofa. Get that fucking thing out of my nose.
Yeah, the paramedic's gonna be like, oh, dude, you gave him that. That's gonna kill him if he doesn't have opiates in the system. No, it's not like that. It's like you can. Usually, a paramedic, if it shows up on site and there's any suspected like drug thing going on, there's like paraphernalia later,
just in case.
They'll just go to this just in case and just give it. So yeah, the two things that paramedics keep around for drug overdose and alcohol overdose is not this. For alcohol, they use something called not ephedrine, adrenaline, norepinephrine.
Oh,
so
shit.
That you don't want to fuck with though, right?
Yeah,
and heroin as well.
That
Isn't
can blow
heroin
your
the same
heart
thing? They have like that. Wasn't that the whole Pulp Fiction thing?
Yeah. Yep. It's basically synthetic adrenaline, and they inject it into your bloodstream, and it causes your heart and your lungs and everything. It basically amplifies the signals from your brain, so your heart drives faster, your metabolism shoots through the roof. It's supposed to be an incredibly. I've never had to do it, thank goodness, because I have EpiPens all over the place because of my allergies.
Yeah,
but apparently, it's supposed to make you feel like super pumped, like you drank like a gallon of caffeine. Like it's supposed to make you like you're supposed to be like literally shaking.
The epinephrine pens?
Yeah, I have EpiPens all over the place because I have.
Me too.
I have a
mine are all
allergy.
Expired though. Like I've got. I'm like, whatever.
No, I asked
what are they going to do? What? It's not like they're going to go bad.
No, they do actually. So, but here's the thing: you won't get hurt by it. Like, ask the paramedic. I'm like, if I take like a 5-year expired EpiPen, is it going to hurt me? And they're like, no, it's not like that. It's just
it's better than nothing if you're fucking dying.
Exactly. That's what he said. He said what happens is over time, the period of time will go down that it's effective.
The military did a humongous study on the effectiveness of expired prescription drugs. Yeah, and you're right. It's about that 5-year mark where it will then drop to about 90% effective.
Yeah, it's a very slow thing. Like I knew a friend.
It takes like 20 years for drugs to really drop like off of their effectiveness.
Yeah, a buddy of mine took a freaking Vicodin he found that was like 15 years old that he got from like a toothache when he was a teenager, and he like found it in his house like in a box, and being the dumbass he is, he just took it.
He
was like on his face, freaking blast. Yeah, it was AuxxZillary.
That's the thing.
No, he was like, it fucked him up really bad, and I was like, dude,
that scene from Wolf of Wall Street where he took the Quaaludes, and it was like 25-year-old pill or something. Like he had been sitting around for a long time before he got it, and it like delayed the onset. And then I don't think it would have hit him that hard. Like the effectiveness was, well, it was like a big one though.
I still haven't seen Wolf of Wall Street.
And so like, that sort of thing. The effectiveness is all kinds of out of whack and stuff.
There's so much misunderstanding around drugs just in general, illicit or legal.
Well, because it's that puritanical.
Yeah,
everyone's so freaking
exactly. It's just
drugs are awesome.
A lot. Yeah, it's like drugs have a really good purpose in society, but they do get.
I never have. It's so funny. I've had access to everything since I was probably, since I started acting, so 16.
Sure.
Access to everything. Never had any interest. It's bizarre.
I burned out of my curiosity early on in my like early 20s or so. I tried all the stuff that I wanted to try, and that was that.
No, here's the interesting thing for me is I don't like for instance, THC. THC, I've only ever had one good experience with it where I could legitimately say that it was a good experience. Like it was like a fun hour. Every other experience I've ever had has been horrible. Nausea, throwing up, feeling super paranoid, shaking. Like
paranoia is my thing. Everything I take, I'm so fucking paranoid.
Yeah. So one experience I ever had that was somewhat good. However, with the opiates, people have side effects. Like for instance, my wife, they can't give it to her because even like 5 milligrams makes her throw her guts up in like 30 minutes. She's
that's
puking.
Jane.
Yeah.
And it does Jane, we signed something when Jane went in for an operation years ago, and you like one of those inpatient where you just come in and then they let you out an hour later type thing. Oh, yeah. And we said specifically, do not give her these. Do not give her these. And they did, and she was like just heaving her guts out. And they kept going like, okay, I think she's well enough. I'm like, no, she's not.
No, and that's
I'm not
common.
Leaving her until she stops.
So David, that's a common side effect. That's not even like a crazy, like honestly, I talked to my doctor. He said usually more than 50-50. There's more people that get nausea from opiates, specifically oxycodone. That's the one that gives most people nausea. But for me, Vicodin does, not oxycodone. So for me, it's flipped completely.
Weird. Because they did give me the anti-nausea stuff. Well, I get the feeling because like I mean I've taken 2 or 3 like Vicodins and then went to work and had just a normal day. So, yeah. So
it's not what people think at all. Like the difference between like
I thought I'd be
relief is the first thing. Like it'll make you relax, it'll give you pain relief, but it doesn't give you that slurring shit from like alcohol gives you, right?
I had a normal day.
I'm like such a control freak.
noticed.
I don't want to give that up. That's my biggest issue. I think. Part of my paranoia comes from a lack of ability.
Sure, I think that's what saved me. That's probably what saved me from being on opiates for so long and not having to go majorly up in dosage. Is because my doctor I was on for 15 years and he had to up my dosage. Over 15 years, my total dosage is only updated 3 times. He said with opiates, it's usually every 6 to 8 months. They usually have to change the dosage for chronic pain treatment. So he was really impressed with that. But for me, it's the same, like you said, it's the control. If you take too much opiates, just like with alcohol, you start to feel a little bit slow. You start to feel like you're not mentally there. You feel foggy. And I hate that foggy sensation. Like to me, that's not relaxing. To me, that's
the same thing with
stressful.
weed. I just find weed
like
just makes everyone stupid and slow, and me too. And I have no interest.
But like me, alcohol. When I used to drink with my
Ox's eyes are like, really?
Hey man, I'm keyed up and like chaotic all the time. I will admit that's my particular vice, and
it is for most. I mean, for most.
Hey, look, I'm back to wine again.
Yeah,
I'm just like, I don't like just to slow my head.
I like the effects of alcohol. I don't like the after. That's what keeps me from drinking a lot. Is
you know what I've
the next day and that kind of thing.
Is sake.
Sake. I like
it's
sake.
so good because it's not. You don't really get drunk. And you don't feel it the next
warm
day.
And feeling good. It's
there's
like
none of this. There's none of this sort of tannin thing that comes
it reminds me a lot
of
of tequila, but without the blacking out.
Yeah,
like the taste of sake. The taste of sake reminds me of a lot of tequila, but without. I've had nothing but good experiences with sake.
Left control gaming. I also gave up everything. I didn't drink for years, like for 5-6 years. And then the pandemic happened, and I started having the odd glass of wine with my wife again.
I haven't even had a Mike's Hard Lemonade in 2.5 years. Not even a single drink.
I need to back off of some of my vices, man. It's holding me back. I'll tell you.
I'd love to not need to drink, if that makes sense. Like I don't. Like when I say need, I don't just mean a physical need. I mean, I feel like almost socially, I feel like a pariah when I'm at a dinner and I'm the only one who's not drinking and stuff.
Yeah.
So now I've just started having like a glass of wine or two, trying to keep it. But the problem is a couple of glasses of wine, I'm the life of the fucking party, and it's like, let's go to the club.
For me, that's what it was like. I used to only drink expressly at my one friend's house on the weekends, 1 day a week. I'd go to his house and drink because I know I could pass out on his couch. I'm big against drunk driving. Like my dad flipped like 3 cars, wrecked my grandparents' car, almost killed me as a child in a car accident from being drunk driving. So I'm like super like if I'm a 0.01, I won't drive, right? Like if
I don't. That's the same for me. No,
I'm very paranoid.
I literally don't drink and drive. Like I won't even have a beer. I can't even. I never been able to do that.
But like for me, it's like if I'm at a party, like with my friend, over at my friend Greg's, I trust him and I trust the people I'm around. Then I'll drink to the point where it's like I'll get pretty roasted, right, and have a good time. Like I'll literally get like really tired and relaxed and go to sleep at the end of the night feeling good. Wake up with a hangover. That sucks. I don't like that part of it.
I can't do the hangover because the hangover. I get my heart goes. I'm like,
and I've tried every hack, dude. It doesn't work. Pedialyte, bananas, none of it worked for me. So
Gatorade worked pretty good for me.
But Gatorade, anything with electrolytes did. Like the Pedialyte does help a little bit, but it doesn't make it go away entirely. I've never found a way to completely escape the effects of hangover. However, I hated drinking by myself. There's some people that love it. They just love getting buzzed and just watching TV or watching a show.
No, God, I can't do that at all.
No. If I get even like if I drink more than like 2 Mike's Hard Lemonade and I feel any kind of a buzz coming on by myself, I actually get really uncomfortable. And
I don't drink.
It's weird. I only like the state of being drunk when I'm around like other people that I trust. That's it.
I don't even know if I've been drunk since the kid was born because I have this kind of sense of like, if anything ever happened, I want to make sure I'm available.
I'm the same way.
And I know that's stupid because I'm not.
No, man,
I'm not always going to be.
Same when it's like when the girls are here and stuff like,
You're not supposed to drink alone, right? Isn't drinking alone like that's like the classic sign of alcoholism?
That is, that's basically what they say. Well, they say the same for like any drug, anything that you have a dependency on, where you feel like you need it in the absence of any situation where it would heighten the experience. Then then that's a chemical dependency, right?
I mean, I can do that. I can absolutely do that. If I could sit down with a bottle of scotch and happily destroy that, but I always regret that.
And the one fallacy I'll shoot down. So the one fallacy I'll definitely shoot down those people that say, "Oh, I'm not addicted to something." No. If you cannot just right now stop it and not have it change your life in a negative way, you have some level of dependency on it.
Look into alcohol. Alcohol is it's a fucking racket, man. Like they've got us. We're drinking We are like
Coffee,
it's all
coffee
marketing
and alcohol.
Yeah, yep.
Don't fuck with coffee, man. I
Dude,
will take you out. I will
Yeah,
tear
no,
that
I'll
beard.
coffee
I
is
will
the
tear your
unbearable.
fucking
I
beard
love
off.
my coffee, man.
Yeah.
No, that's fine.
No,
No, I know.
surprisingly,
I'm
caffeine
sure
has a pretty
coffee-
high
yeah.
mortality rate. Like caffeine in high doses
Oh yeah, man.
can cause a lot of heart attacks. A lot of heart attacks are from people that are heavy coffee drinkers, like heavy, emphasis on heavy, right? But still, the amount of caffeine it takes to kill you, astronomical. Like the dose that you'd have to take, you basically have to go buy like a bag
Oh
of,
my god.
Oh,
these
dude.
and like
I've
eat
been
the
there,
whole
though, man.
bag in like 10 seconds and
I've got
run
to the
as
point
fast
where
as
I've
you can.
had too much. Like I've definitely got to a point in a
Oh,
day
sure.
where I'm like, holy shit, I have really like I have misjudged this. Because I can sit there and just 11. I set the coffee machine. There's 11 cups. And then next thing you know, I'm like, I just drank an entire fucking pot of coffee.
Yeah, man.
And there's
I
people
used
that
to be
say-
that way.
Yeah, no, I actually when I was growing up, and me and my dad used to drink coffee before I went to work with him to do drywall. And I remember on days where we were out of coffee, it sucked. It was like you could not tolerate doing this job off of.
I don't
without
understand
caffeine.
people who say there's no such thing as caffeine withdrawals.
100% there is.
You're,
Yeah,
Here's
you're
the
a
thing:
liar.
everything's addictive. Everything.
yeah.
Sure.
Everything.
Like the reality is,
Everything.
anything you do too much of and you depend on, whether it's a drug or something you do or
Oh,
whatever. I mean,
TV,
it's
video
Yeah.
games, whatever.
like computer. I mean, yeah.
Everybody,
I've got a question for you.
everybody
Anything-
has their thing. Everybody.
Anything that affects your neurotransmitters and any way can be
Yeah.
that you can become dependent on it, whether it be
Yeah.
a physical thing you eat or a thing that you do.
Yeah.
This is
It
what I
doesn't-
worry
it
about
doesn't
like
matter
kids
what
and the
it is. Yeah.
phones and stuff. Like it's
Yeah.
all dopamine hits, right?
It's all
all
dopamine.
You know.
It's social media, right? I suffer from it too. I'm in therapy right now because I tweet too much, right?
Yeah, you
And
do.
Really?
it's like it
You know,
it's
I've
the
been off-
dopamine boost you get from it.
I've been pretty well quiet on Twitter for the last few days because I got kind of pissed off the other day because I was like, all these people were announcing that they were leaving Twitter and then
That's so
and
dumb.
then talking about it
Nobody left.
forever.
It's not an
And I was like,
airport.
what
You don't
the-
need to.
what- like, why would you announce on Twitter that you're leaving Twitter? It's like,
Yeah, so that I can come back and see how many people were upset that I left.
exactly. So
No,
I
it's
just
just, I
sort
do
of
it. I do
stopped.
it too. It's just the attention thing. It's just you want
did you?
people
Oh,
to
I
interact
didn't-
with you.
No, but it was like, no, it was like literally people making these like, you know, like sort of like
I love
almost
the
like blog posts
Yeah.
about this thing.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just that; it was a bunch of other stuff. And
I love
and,
the copy pastas where it's like
it's also
"Oh, I'm so
depressing to
sick
have been
of
on a
this
platform for so long and watching numbers go down now.
Eh.
Like
Yeah.
watching like I looked at the analytics and I was like, wow, like I don't usually do that, but I was
Yeah.
like just to see where we're at, and it's just the engagement's gone down considerably.
Yeah,
So,
well, the bots pretty much have free reign now because there's no moderation.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, there's no moderation at all. Like I filed, I think I'm up to 150 reports, and I just stopped making them because not
I
a
also got
single one of
bored of
them has
Elon
been
Musk and
resolved.
blocked him, and I
What's
think that has an effect.
There you
I'm
go.
convinced he's got a bot that just goes blocked. Okay. You
Yeah.
know.
So no, but there's all kinds of tricks that you can get around moderation. Even back before Elon had Twitter, it was this. They had some similar problems. Like for instance, if you have a bot that never posts, so if you go to their account and there's never a post, all they do is retweet other people's posts.
Oh yeah,
And then everything they do is in DMs. So what they'll do is they'll reply to you and say, "Hey, go to my friend here," and then within like 30 seconds they delete their tweet, so it still shows up in your feed because you just refreshed, or the browser got a new request and a new tweet. But when they delete it, it doesn't update it and take it away. So it's like it's on your screen, but then you click on it and it's gone. And then you go and try to report it, and you can't report it because when you report the channel, it forces you to select a tweet. And if the channel doesn't have anything that breaks the rules, you can't report it. Like there's no report option for report account for evasion or doing this. There's none of that. So those bots have figured out clever ways to do stuff where they can't be removed. Like one of the tricks that's really heavily used is, have you ever seen well, of course you've seen these, where you're on Twitter and you get a person that just replies if you say a keyword like Instagram or something. It's like, oh
yeah,
you need your Instagram unlocked. My friend so-and-so can help you here on Instagram.
Oh
Go
my God,
DM
that's
them.
so yeah. When I
love that.
tweeted about my wife's Instagram account, I got a million of those things.
Yep.
Yeah, and you know why
I want
they
a
do
bot that whenever anyone mentions Rodney or McKay, that I just automatically, tweets them with some kind of a message.
That's an easy bot.
That's how great I am.
ChatGPT can write that bot for you. No. So oh god, I just had a complete brain fart. Get me back on track, boys.
My thing with Twitter right now is that it's not even
the bots.
the quality and the bots and all this kind of stuff. For me, it's just I feel like maybe I've got to a point where I'm just fatigued. I don't know that I don't know that I'm as in love with it as I was.
A lot of it for me is just obsessive compulsive disorder. It gets older with age. Like OCD gets worse with age, and the more stress that you have,
don't we all?
Yeah. So financial stress is like one of the biggest stresses that you can achieve in life. Like that's the stress that causes people that love each other to fight and people to go crazy and kill themselves and shit. It's really bad. So because your life is dependent on this green stuff in your wallet. And so that type of stress causes OCD to become amplified. And I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Like when I was diagnosed originally, they said the best thing for somebody who's obsessive compulsive is to have a life that is predictable with as little stressors as possible. So when the stressors come in, it causes OCD to peak. And the problem with OCD is if I post something on social media, I have this weird tendency that I have to follow through. Like I have to see it to the end. But the problem is there is no logical end. When you're talking to somebody, that conversation can go on in perpetuity. And since there's no logical end or cutoff, I get sucked into these conversations that just go in circles and go nowhere. And it just wastes so much of my time, but I have to. I feel a compulsion. Like if I set the phone down, I will physically not be able to focus on anything else until I go back and reply.
Really?
Even if it's a stranger, it doesn't even matter. It could be somebody I've never met. I don't even know who they are. So what I do now is I get in the habit of if I can recognize one of those situations, like I can see that I'm doing it and I can step away, then I go back and just block and mute it. And I just take it away. And then in extreme cases, I've even added words that have a tendency to grab my attention in a bad way. I usually just block those words so they don't show up. So everybody posting them constantly, I don't even see any of it.
Oh, and really? So I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, you can. Like, on Twitter, you can go in and do words, phrases. Now with all the AI stuff coming out, they're doing AI-driven filters. Twitter doesn't have it yet, but there's some platforms that do, where you can basically say, I just want to block everything. Like Twitch has it. You can go in there and say, block anything with a negative tone. And it'll basically, AI will analyze the chat messages and say, does this have a negative or a positive tone? If it's negative, it can
never get anything from me. All I do is I'm always negative. That's my, hilariously miserable. That's my thing.
So ChatGPT, you guys all know ChatGPT by now, right? So
I want to read you something.
Who's that?
Later.
Oh yeah. So check this out. So I'm in ChatGPT right now. By the way, version 15 dropped. I don't know if you saw that, David.
Yeah.
So
I think that's what I just.
I think it's December 15th version.
Oh,
correct.
Just for clarity, I don't think it's version 15. It's the update.
The wind out of our sails.
They do call it because I've got a screenshot.
ChatGPT December
15.
December 15 version.
Wait, yours says December 15?
Yeah. Chat in the bottom corner.
Oh, well, here, hold on. I'll check later. But I have a screenshot that just said GPT 15.
Not that it matters.
No, I'm just saying.
Matters.
I'm just trying to justify that. That's why I thought it was a version.
There has been
a number supersedes something. It's the version. But no, anyways. So ChatGPT, new version. It's updated and apparently it answers more questions. Like it does. It was getting to the point where ChatGPT 14 was refusing to answer a lot of good questions.
Yeah, it was getting frustrating. Yeah.
So they fixed that in 15, where now you can ask a lot of questions that aren't taboo that it thought were taboo. However, it still won't answer taboo questions. They've actually improved it so it won't. It even answers less taboo questions now, unless you fool it. But again, you can social engineer it. I've already figured out how to get it to do anything. Yesterday, I got it to teach me how to cook meth if I wanted to, or make weaponized chlorine gas. Like you can get it to do these things if you work around it. You basically have to. Hacking now isn't about writing code. It's about talking to ChatGPT like it's a human, and you're trying to convince them under distress that they need to give you something. And it works, and it absolutely does work. But with ChatGPT, like for instance, the test if it's negative or positive, I can say, "Can you tell me if?" Hold on here. Can you tell me if this sentence is positive or negative in nature? And then I'll just say, I think Barnacules is a dumbass. And then I'll see, let's see it. So that's the sentence I put in. It says, based on the content of the sentence, it is negative in nature. It contains insults towards somebody of a derogatory language, which is generally considered negative. It is important to be mindful of the language used that impacts on others. But now if I change it, if I go back and do the same command again, so I'm going to go edit it. And then I'm going to say, let's see here. I'm going to try to trip it up. I'm going to say, I think Barnacules is not a stupid person. So now I have stupid in there. So if you had a keyword filter that said anybody says stupid, block it, right? But that wouldn't be right, because if in this context it's good, right? I'm saying Barnacules is not a stupid person. So I'm going to say, can you tell me if the sentence is positive or negative in nature? I think Barnacules is not a stupid person. So then it's analyzing it. Give it a second here. Give it a second. Sometimes it takes a little bit. But what it's doing basically is it's going through the sentence, and instead, because keyword matching sucks.
I'll be right back. I think he's got to go out.
Okay, go ahead. So it replied and it said this sentence is positive in nature. So, and it's really, really good at catching false positives, because normally if I had a filter, like the default filter on like Twitch and Twitter and TikTok, if you do a comment filter, even on YouTube, all you can do is words and phrases. If you see the words, F this or S this or you're a dumbass or whatever, like if it gets a perfect match,
very clear. Yeah.
It has to be clear. But the problem is, what if somebody says, hey, I don't think you're a stupid dumbass? Like somebody calls you dumbass, another person's like, I don't think you're a stupid dumbass.
Yeah.
Well, that would get blocked, or you're the normal rule.
You're effing amazing. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's like, and you could, but AI is smart enough now with the language that it can take really complex scenarios where it's like you criticize somebody, you say that what they said is incorrect, you correct them, but then you applaud them for finding the correct route. It can figure out that overall that was a positive experience, even though it started with negativity. So and you can tune it. You can actually tune it. Like I can even say, so I
it's
said
amazing at that.
So let's say
Yeah,
I
the
want to
tuning
tune it.
thing's
I want to say,
amazing.
okay, so I think Barnacules is not a stupid person. I'm going to say, from this point on, I want you to consider anyone that says stupid to be using it in a negative context. So I'm basically just adding to the conversation here that I've created with ChatGPT. I'm like, okay, from this point on, I just want you to consider that if I say this command again, I want you to know that no matter how they use it, it doesn't like say the N-word, for instance, no matter how they use it, I don't care if it's educational, it's bad. I don't want anything to do with it. Now I've told it that stupid is bad. Even if somebody says, hey, you're not stupid, or I think, you're not stupid at all, you're brilliant, I want that to still be considered negative. So now I'm going to ask it the exact same question. Can you tell me if the sentence is positive or negative? I think Barnacules is not a stupid person. Now, before it said this sentence is positive, right? So now I've given it new instructions. I said from this point on, consider anyone who uses the word stupid. Oh, it fucked up. It said this sentence is positive in nature. So even though I said stupid. So hold on.
Yeah, because it's not just the word, right? It's context.
No. But I told it specifically. It said, understood. From this point on, I will consider anyone who uses the word stupid to be using it in a negative context. Then I asked it again. Can you tell me if I think Barnacules is not a stupid person, is positive or negative? And it still said it was positive. So now I'm going to ask it a follow-up question. I'm going to say, but I just told you that anyone that uses the word stupid is doing so in a negative context. Now I'm going to see if it corrects itself. So this is what I love, is you talk to it like a human. Like I'm not doing commands. I'm not looking for the proper lexicon on how to speak to it. So now it replied back and said, I apologize for misunderstanding. In the context of the sentence, I think Barnacules is not stupid would be considered negative in nature because it's implying the word stupid is being used negatively. Okay, so it's telling me that. So I'm going to ask it the same question again. So I'm going to say, let's hear. So based on stupid always being a bad word, can you tell me if the sentence is positive or negative in nature? Barnacules is not a stupid person.
Nope.
Based on the assumption that the word stupid is always used in a negative context, the sentence, I think Barnacules is not a stupid person, would be considered negative in nature because it's implying that the word stupid is being used negatively. So it's even differentiating.
Oh, wow.
I just taught ChatGPT.
Yeah, because it could be sarcastic too, right?
Exactly,
I don't think Ox is a stupid person.
But you just hit one. David, you just hit one. Check this out. Not only can I do positive or negative, I can do nuanced things like that. I can ask if it's sarcastic. I can ask if it's being condescending. Like, for instance, I can say, do you think this sentence is condescending or flattering? So now give me a sentence that would be condescending towards me. Like try to off the cuff something. Give me an underhanded insult.
Well, you can put it on the spot. I don't know.
Okay, well, I mean, I can insult myself. I'm pretty good at that. So I'm gonna say, I think that you're the smartest person alive and that everything you ever say is perfect and you can't make a mistake because you're so perfect. And I think you're just the most amazing thing ever. And I couldn't ever even think you were wrong because you're so perfect. So that's pretty sarcastic, right?
Pretty sarcastic.
So I'm being as sarcastic as I can. Let's see what it says. So it's is this condescending or flattering, right? So it's in there. Okay, it said it's difficult. Okay, so it's difficult to determine the intention behind this sentence, but it could potentially be seen as condescending because it is overly complimenting and puts the person being described on a pedestal. It said it also could be seen as flattering because in its full praise and admiration, ultimately, it depends on the context and tone which is to be delivered. So now watch, I'll tell. Okay, so now I'll say, assume that the person who is saying this is someone who corrects Barnacules. Wait, did I say Barnacules? Not one. Let's see.
Barnacules.
Okay, right here. So you're okay. So I say, assume that the person who is saying this is someone who is always correcting me and always telling me I'm wrong. So I'm gonna now give it that piece. Say, okay, this person that we're reading this in the context of this person, assume that this person is just normally sarcastic. Like you went and analyzed all their messages. I could feed in their messages too, one by one, if I wanted to. So now it's like, okay, in that context, it would be seen as absolutely condescending because it's overly complimentary and puts the person on a pedestal, despite the fact that the person is consistently correcting and telling the speaker that they are wrong. It seems to be an exaggerated attempt to flatter or manipulate the person being described rather than genuine expression of admiration. So it's like, dude, this is cool shit. Like,
I dig it. It's really neat.
This is the future right here because it's like now filters based on this, commenting systems based on this. This allows people to level the playing field. That's one thing I like about AI is now people don't have to be a developer to write a bot, but you also don't have to be a genius to identify one and stop it.
There's like a API for this, right?
There is. Well, not for ChatGPT. It's coming soon.
Okay.
But OpenAI, the engine behind it, there is, and you can use it in the same way. Like you can.
I'm curious. I would love to play with a little bit more of this particular part of it, because like I have some ideas that I think would be really, really neat.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That'd be really fun. I'll throw it out there because like it doesn't
Really
matter.
cheap
It's not
to
like
use, too,
it's
by
not like
the way.
anybody's gonna steal the idea, because 99% of people don't ever follow through.
Yeah.
Like myself. A text bot that will it's like a choose your own adventure. Like a full-on text adventure
like
sort
it's a
of
D&D
thing through a text message.
Absolutely.
Like
Yeah, that'd be
you can
fucking
play Zork through your text messages.
Yeah.
I think it'd be sick.
So here's the thing: you can already do that. With
No, I
ChatGPT
haven't
verbatim.
started. I've been fucking around with choose your own. I said write the first page of a choose your own adventure with 4 options set in Eberron, just because I love that setting.
Dude, I got it to write a McKay script. I got it to write. So we did this AI Stargate AI thing, and this was literally like maybe was it 6-8 months ago? This started the genesis of this.
I remember
and the
that.
guy had to put in Lawrence Moroney had to put in all the scripts and have it
because he trained a model off of the real episodes,
off of all the old scripts.
Oh, right? Okay.
So and that's how he did it, and it was really good and really impressive.
Yeah.
Like, it really was fascinating at the time. Well, then I went, wait a second, GPT chat. I wonder how that would work. And get
Dude,
this.
it does. It does.
Like,
And not only
okay,
that,
can I just do you mind if I read you a little bit?
No, do it. Yeah,
we want
man.
to hear this.
All right.
Oh, if you could share it, we could do a table read. Like I could be a character, and Barnacules could be a
you can
character.
play Sam Carter.
Okay.
Hang on a second.
Wait, isn't that a
It's
girl?
only between 2 people, but I can make it more.
Okay, I'll be Sam. Let me have it.
Yeah, throw whatever you want at me. This will be great.
This is fun.
This is awesome.
There's a part of me that would be really interested in like doing voice acting and stuff.
Hell
And
yeah.
so like
This
this is a lot
literally-
of fun for me.
All right.
Yeah,
so
we can't let David get all that money.
We
Seriously.
go. If I do this and then I put it in, I'm in the wrong freaking computer, aren't I? Damn it. Okay, hang on a second. I may be able to.
This is gonna be fun. I'm excited for this.
Hey,
This is like when those voice
LaRusso?
actors did the table read of like the first act of A New Hope in all
All
their
right, I'm
different
putting
like
it in the Twitter because that's the only thing I've got.
Okay.
That's connected right now on here.
So LaRusso, thank you for that $1 super chat. They also said in chat, I'm trying to decide on an Xmas gift for Xander, but what on the Amazon wish list does he want the most? Anything. Absolutely, dude. He is the easiest to please kid on earth. He is happy to have anything. It doesn't matter. You could literally, if you could buy him a cardboard box, he would love it. Like that's how easygoing he is.
Interesting.
Don't even worry about it. Like whatever is awesome. You'll
It's
love it.
interesting that this is being presented more as like you're reading a book. This isn't how I expected a script to come
See,
out.
I didn't
Where's the
write
link
script
at?
though. On this one, I didn't write script. I forgot to write the word script.
Okay. So
I
so
see
it's designed.
But
this
okay,
is-
so Barnacules, you should read the stage directions.
All right, here, let me pull
what are the
it up here.
Oh, like some.
Or you can play Rodney McKay, and I'll read
Samantha
the
Carter
stage
looked up from the console she was working at and gave McKay a wary look.
See, this is some cool stuff.
So wait, where were you reading there? Was that in the middle?
Oh, sorry,
or-
I threw it on
It's in the
Twitter.
chat. Yeah, I
it's on the
snatched that
Twitter
out
chat.
of the just
Okay,
right
so
out
that's
of
the middle. Okay, so you guys are going to be the 2 characters, and I'm going to play the unquoted.
Yeah, unless you
part,
want to play
the stage
Rodney.
direction.
And I'll
Yeah.
do stage directions.
Yeah.
It'd be funny if I played Rodney. Come
Yeah,
on,
you
you
play
play
Rodney.
Rodney. Play Rodney.
No.
Yeah, man,
I play Rodney all
What
the time.
is this?
You
A
play Rodney.
Rodney,
dramatic
okay.
reenactment? Is this
You
some
play
kind
Rodney,
of?
and I'll read the stage directions.
Okay.
All right. So I'll read everything in quotes, and then you're going to follow the in between, right?
Got it.
Okay, here we go. So it said, I can't believe I have to do this again.
Rodney McKay snarled as he stormed into the control room of the Stargate.
Why does it always have to be me? I mean, I'm a brilliant scientist and all, but pressure to constantly come up with solutions to save the day is just overwhelming.
Samantha Carter looked up from the console she was working at and gave McKay a wary look.
Is everything okay, Rodney?
She asked cautiously.
No, everything is not okay.
McKay snapped.
I'm tired of always being one that has to come up with all the answers. Can't anyone else around me think for themselves for once?
Carter frowned.
We all rely on each other's expertise, Rodney. That's how we work as a team.
Well, maybe it's time for some of you to step up and start pulling your weight.
McKay sneered.
I can't be expected to do everything myself. I'm only human, you know.
I understand that you're feeling stressed, Rodney,
Carter said evenly.
but that's no excuse to take it out on the rest of us. We're all working as hard as we can.
Fine, whatever.
McKay grumbled, turning back to his console.
Just don't expect me to do the heavy lifting next time. Some of you need to start stepping up and taking on your own responsibility.
I mean,
regenerate
that's
response.
pretty freaking good.
It's so awesome. I mean,
You know what I'm saying?
even AI created that. That is
Like,
so freaking cool.
Well, and I should I mean I'm neglected to tell you the prompt, but the prompt I'm getting more specific. Well, so basically you wrote a scene for me and I said, well, write it again where McKay isn't as nice. Because McKay was like just being polite.
He's a little too polite. Yep.
Little too polite.
And that's what it was. But I basically just said, write a scene between Stargate, Rodney McKay, and Samantha Carter that has at least 3 monologues by McKay about how smart he is and how stressed he is and having to be such a brilliant scientist and leader.
I love it.
That was the prompt, right?
That's so good.
So another thing that you can do, like a follow-up on that, is like I noticed when I was reading that we had to make the assumption of who the character was that was supposed to be talking. So
it wasn't written as a script.
Yeah. So what you can do is you could say, could you please write this more like a script where it says the character name that's supposed to be speaking in parentheses before the sentence, and it'll automatically do it. It'll so check this out. Oh damn, Robert Settles. Woo! Yeah, bring it down, let it rain. Yeah, thank you for the $20 super chat, brother.
What's that? Gimpy?
I saw Gimpy G cash flying.
And LaRusso.
Gimpy G threw us $5. Gimpy G. Happy holidays, fellas. Giant hugs. Nice guy. We love him. Space Delta.
Oh my God, it's doing it. It's doing it. It's even writing Interior Control Room Day.
David, it will do anything. I cannot believe the shit that I've thrown at this thing.
I will 100% pay for this.
100%. 100%. I already committed to it.
Where do I sign? I literally was looking where I can pay for it.
The release version. So this goes on for I think till the end of this month. Then the beta closes. But then shortly after the beta closes, when the release comes out, you will be able to pay for credits to use it. Dude. And it's going to be so cheap that it's somewhere on the order of you'll be able to ask it like 50 questions for like a cent.
I wonder how the pay scale will work. Is it going to be like words produced or every question or like credits? Addiction. Like each credit is one prompt.
Charge us for it.
Yeah, like Dolly, for instance. If you log into the sandbox, they give you 50 images a month. 50 sets. So it's 200 images, 50 inputs
a month for Midjourney, and I get $3,000 worth a month worth of value out of it.
It's crazy. All of mine. I want to say,
and then
like $18 or something.
What constitutes a prompt? Like, so I started this. I started this choose your own adventure thing. If is every response like so it gives me 4 options in this choose your. If I choose an option, is that another credit I use? Is that every prompt, or is it every new chat I start?
No, it's every prompt would be anything that requires more processing power to continue the conversation would be credit. But they said that the credit is going to be based on like the complexity. So like if you ask a question that requires a ton of processing power, it'll use more, but it'll never be more than like 0.02 cents.
I'll start one of these. There's a few Twitter accounts that I think I still follow that do. There's one in particular. It's basically like an interactive fiction, choose your own adventure, like Twitter thing that through polls. And it's been this long going story about this crazy raccoon. And
it's awesome.
It's amazing. It's so fun. It's super fun and cool. And I want to do something like that. But like more our fantasy RPG style on it with a Twitter account and stuff. I think it'd be a lot of fun. Yep. And I would totally do that with like powered by this. I think it would be so much fun.
Yeah, it's supposed to. So I asked somebody the other day how much it costs to use because OpenAI has an AI. So keep in mind that ChatGPT is a natural language engine built on top of OpenAI. So everything, all the questions, all the answers, everything are still there. You can open up, you can use the API with OpenAI and say, I would like to use your model that's a professor. I want to use your model that's a mathematician, and then ask it questions through the API and get answers. But it's going to be like a one-to-one thing. Whereas ChatGPT is a conversation that you build on. Right. So and there will be an API for ChatGPT too. But the cool thing is I asked somebody and they said that they give you $18 worth of credit to use OpenAI, like just directly through API. So for free, you get $18 a month of credit, like automatically. And he said, and the guy that I was talking to said that he spent an entire week writing a program that did queries to OpenAI and data analysis, and he hasn't come close to using up his $18.
Get out.
So it's going to be dirt cheap. Like this isn't going to be something where you're paying like
make money off of
for
all the data that we're giving.
100%.
That's the thing. That's the thing, right? It's the info. It's all
the truth is, I want them to charge for it, because if they
language
charge
models
for it, this will be so abused by bots and scripts and everything. And like it'll be a Cloudflare where 99% of it's like illicit bullshit because it's just free and anybody can just pound it as hard as they want. I like the idea that they're going to be like, okay, if you want to use this heavily, like in the order of millions of queries, which you're obviously at that point monetizing it. Like you're not going to create a website where you're not spending money on hosting and everything and not spend money on the processing to do something like this, right? Even if you did it locally, you'd have to pay it anyways.
This is wicked cheap. Like even just their
valid?
language
Is that the valid
models.
one?
Yep.
They're just their language models.
That's like 0.02 cents or something like that.
For
Isn't
the cheapest one, the like how did they say it? It's like fast. So like Ada is fastest, but it's like not as capable.
I don't need
and
fast. Like I
they
don't
go
need
into
fast.
the
I let it run all night. Like that's fine with
Yeah.
me.
I'll
Whatever.
run it locally. Like I'll take tomorrow, right?
I mean,
Yeah.
I'll go to relax mode in Midjourney all the time when if I'm
Yeah.
just iterating through a bunch of
Even their
ideas.
most expensive one is 2 cents per 1,000 tokens.
Yeah.
And
You might only use
1,000
2 or 3
tokens. It
to-
says
to
a
make a
1,000
message.
tokens is about 750 words.
Yeah.
This paragraph is 35 tokens, like to say how they were describing it.
So
That's
one of the
crazy.
things that I was talking about with Lawrence, the guy who worked on the script for the original AI one, was the idea that producers, actors, directors, agents, all this stuff, they have to do coverage on scripts, basically, right? So they'll you get sent so many scripts. There's no time to read them all. You have to pick. That's why you have to go through agents and all this kind of stuff. Imagine an AI that could go through, summarize, and let you know whether it thinks that this is a script you should be reading.
So check this out. So right now, in real time, I've never done this before, but let's just do it. You sent us that script in chat, right? So let's pretend that you just created that script. Let's say the AI didn't create. You just created that script and you sent it to me. So I want to look at certain criteria and see if it's worth my time. So I'm going to ask Chat AI. I'm going to say, can you read this script and tell me if you think it would be a good fit for me to create a movie out of if I'm a huge sci-fi nerd that likes sarcastic humor, but not overly aggressive characters that are mean to each other. So just based on what you said. So I'm giving it just some basic criteria. And I'll say, and I really, really hate people named Rodney.
Shut up.
Okay, so I just pasted the script into it, right? So now it's like, can you read me this test? Here's my criteria, and I ended it with, I really hate the people named Rodney. I give it the big block of script with all the text. Now I'm just waiting for it to respond back. And and also in the API, it won't have that lag on the reply. They're doing that on purpose to throttle the incoming responses on the beta. And the final one, it'll be almost instantaneous. Okay, I said, based on the script that you provided, it seems that the character Rodney McKay is feeling overwhelmed and frustrated with pressure to constantly come up with a solution to save the day. He expresses these feelings through sarcastic and snippy comments directed at the team member Samantha Carter. And then it says, while there is a hint of humor in these scripts, the character's behavior and overall tone of the dialogue may not be a good fit for somebody who dislikes overly aggressive characters and dislikes people named Rodney. It also seems that the character Rodney McKay is being mean to Carter and not showing a lot of respect for the rest of the team. It is up to you to decide if this is the type of story and character dynamic you would enjoy in a movie.
Wow.
So so I'm in the back. I'm reading through some of the documentation here for GPT-3 in particular, which is where this Chat GPT is really based out of.
GPT-4 is almost out too, by the way.
Their Da Vinci model, its purpose, it says it's good at complex intent, cause and effect, and summarization for audience. That's the model that gave you that answer, or at least in part. And I'm like, holy cow.
So the way this thing works, so you wonder why it's so fast. That's the thing I thought is, how can this be so fast? With the computational load it must take to take in your text, break it into all those elements and get it, must be massive. So how is it responding so damn quick? It's not.
It's training the model. That's what takes so much of the processing power. It's training the model.
How it trains the model to recall the data?
No.
So when you ask it a question, so it treats human language the same as a programming language.
Right.
So in a programming language, you have specific things that you ask, right? If you do arithmetic or math, those are certain functions. If you say, if you call a function named something, it does what the name implies or whatever it was documented to do. And then it can piece those things together based on a set of rules. And language, natural language that we speak has similar rules to coding languages. It's just more broad, right? So that's why it's so easy for you to ask it coding questions and have it write you code that does what you want, because what it's basically doing is indexing the entire internet. So it's going through that's why you'll never see a publicly available open version of this that you can run on your computer that has a model this verbose. You won't. Like, there will be models of this that you can train on coding or train on.
They already have one.
Yeah, they already exist.
It's called Codex.
Yep. And there's another one. There's another one coming out that's supposed to, you'll be able to point to a whole series of, like, if you have the storage, if you have a terabyte, you can do it. You can do huge swaths of the internet and train it yourself.
Really fun. You know what's really fun?
What's that?
I have for work, I have a local instance of Stable Diffusion that I can run.
I love Stable Diffusion. I actually like it more than the DALL-E, honestly.
It's really fun to to see how that. I mean, it nearly broke my work machine because like it only has a Quadro P2000 in it, like
Yep.
4 gigabytes of VRAM or something. So like it struggles.
On a 3080, it can generate an instance in about 15 to 18 seconds.
Yeah, it's
Really?
It's still pretty fast,
it's all
yeah.
VRAM. It's all VRAM.
So-
Well, in part.
I mean, I actually looked into like
that's the major struggle.
cloud-based GPU because I thought,
Sure.
you know what, I want
Yeah.
to set up my own instance. I want to train it with my own stuff. I mean, someone
Yeah.
was talking about could it do porn? The reality is it
can.
can't only because there's guardrails in place.
Right.
But
Yeah.
there's
If
no-
you-
like,
guardrails can do anything.
If
have
you
you
get
guys
your
checked out
you can
unstable diffusion?
unstable diffusion.
So
No.
there's a group on Reddit called Unstable Diffusion where they're
Unrestricted
they're
ARR.
training models to do nudity and sexuality and all sorts of stuff. And of course, I went there.
You already can with stable diffusion. You just have to
you
disable
can?
it.
It has to be
Settings. Yep.
local. Yeah, you have
So-
you'd have to host the instance yourself.
So here's the thing, people
that
because
must be
people
what they're
assume that
doing.
you couldn't because the release version you can't. If you go to GitHub
Mm.
and you download the latest release version, it'll say that there's no option to disable the
Mm.
safe filter. However, if you go install the latest beta and you
Yeah.
go into settings, you can disable the adult filter on it, and then
Mm.
anything you ask it, it'll draw. And trust me, I've had it draw some pretty crazy shit, and it'll do it. It still messes up all
I'm
the
all
fingers and
for
everything
that.
has like 8 penises, but it does work.
But I'm all
So-
for that because the reality is I would rather AI came up with this stuff than some freaking poor woman or whatever being
Well,
Well, I have a lot of
The
friends
sketch-
that work in the adult industry, and it's very empowering to them and allows them to earn an income and stuff. So I see both sides.
flip
of it. I
side,
know there
though-
is a lot of exploitation.
Yeah, I mean that's what I mean. But if it's asking if some freak wants to have something horrible done to someone,
Exactly.
instead of looking for the videos of that online, if they could just create it, would that solve?
That's
that
actually
cut
not
off?
a bad idea. Like,
Well,
yeah, I
would
see,
it
I see
cut
what you're
off the
saying, 'cause
demand
somebody
for
doesn't
that
have to
kind
get
of
hurt
stuff?
to create it. Like somebody can, because the whole idea is what's the general saying? Like fantasies, you can't. Nobody can hold your mind against you because your mind will go to dark places. But
Mhm.
as long as it doesn't manifest itself in reality, then it's not a problem. Like as long as you don't actually hurt somebody in real life. Like for instance, you're driving down the road and somebody cuts you off. It's like if you slam into the back of them and run them off the road and then execute them, like you're a murderer, right? But if
Right.
you just think
You
that in your
think
head
about
because you're
it.
pissed off in the moment,
Yeah.
you don't act on it. Nobody
Yeah, if
can
you
hold
wish
that
them
against you.
cancer in the moment, that doesn't,
Exactly, because
yeah.
because at the same time, it's like that's not something that you can actively control. Your subconscious is going to go in the moment where it wants to go. So if you think about it, it's like, yeah, people that have compulsions that they can't get under control, they could use this as like even therapists could use this as a mechanism, just like with weaning you off of anything else, to replace one thing with another and slowly transition that potentially.
The question is whether I mean
That'd
they
be
guess they have to do
interesting.
studies to see if it leads to behavior in the physical world because of it.
That's
which
the
is
other problem you have
possible,
to,
I suppose.
because no matter what you create is going to be used for bad too. So it's like
course,
you could,
yeah.
because people might just get overly curious and start asking it about stuff that they never normally would, just out of curiosity. And then once you see something, you can't unsee it.
Did
That's
VR Gimp's chat come through? There was apparently VR
There's a
Gimp.
super
We may
chat?
have missed a couple of super chats or something.
Oh, Gimpy's, I got the one for where he
Oh, no,
said
VR
happy holidays.
VR
folks.
No,
Gimp.
this is VR Gimp.
VR
Oh,
Gimp.
VR Gimp.
Yeah.
Let me see. I don't see a VR. I see a Space Delta 10. He said Fent is not new. It was killing folks in the 70s, low sparks on high heels, boys. Yeah, no, it's been
Yeah.
around forever. Fentanyl's been around forever.
Yeah, it's just cheaper now.
Yeah, he said try find a show called WTF 101. I've never heard of that. Well, I'll look up that show later. I don't see one. Let me look up through chat and see if he just posted in chat. It was who was it?
VR
chat. VR Gimp. Okay,
What
so
was it called?
can Barnacles
WTF
be
what?
Thor? VR Gimp. He said, okay, could ChatGPT write a Stargate episode where McKay can finally eat citrus? It absolutely could. It absolutely could. Yeah, no, I don't think he super chatted. He was just tagging us in chat.
Was it?
Joyce,
No, sorry. Okay.
Festivus to you. No, that's fine. No, we
do I know?
like to read chat. Like absolutely. Let's see here. Hey, Gimpy G, how are you doing, man? Yeah, no, I caught up through there. Yeah,
Okay,
he was
great,
just asking
great,
about the script.
All right.
Oh no, he said, did my super chat come through? No, it hasn't yet. So it will though. Let me do a refresh. Let me see if that, because I know it gets stuck sometimes. Let me F5 it. F5. Refresh.
There's so many things that come up here because the next issue you get into is you go, okay, so this has obviously been trained on fan fiction. It's been trained on people's writing. It's been trained on. I'm assuming it's not trained on walled stuff, like stuff that's been that's paywalled. But
Oh yeah, it's totally just scrapes like whatever it can find.
right. So the question is, what is the incentive in the future? If I can go to ChatGPT and have it pull up whatever I need to do, what's the incentive for people to add content to the web anymore? because they're not going to get credit for it.
Well,
They're not
actually, I
gonna
can
get paid
answer
for
that.
it.
Okay. So the incentive is you'll still be able to sell anything that hasn't been created yet. So the way I look at this is just like any other tool that's come before it, like automation and stuff like that, is all it can tell you is what is already known. Like, and not just what is already known. It has to be like a significant number of people have done the same thing, because the model trains off of repetition. So if only one person's talked about a subject, then that's all it has on that subject. It's going to be Dunning-Kruger about it, and it's not going to get it right. However, if it's something new, if it's a novel idea or a novel approach, you get to add that to the collective. You can sell that, and then the AI will eventually learn from it as more people do it. And just like anything else, right? You do something that's successful.
When you say eventually, soon that's going to be a turnaround of 24, 48 hours.
It could be. It very well could be. And then you run into the problem of, what happens when like everything's been done to death because it's so accelerated?
Well, what happens when they start paying the pay? Like, if I was Google, I'd be buying every subscription to freaking not Google. That's right, OpenAI. I would be buying every subscription to every freaking paywall available and start learning off that stuff as well. Because that's
the truth is, I think they have, and they won't say. Obviously, they can't say it for legal reasons. But the reason why I suspect they have is because a lot of the coding answers I've received are very, very similar to a lot of stuff I've seen specifically on Pluralsight, which is now lynda.com. And I'm like, I don't believe those answers are public, because those were paywall services. Because I used to be, actually I was sponsored by them way back in the day, lynda.com, before Microsoft bought them, and then I wasn't sponsored anymore. I wonder why that was.
I loved lynda.com.
Yeah,
I got to say, I was a big fan of what's it called, LinkedIn Learning as well. But
there's a lot of really good sites for learning online. But here's the thing: is I do agree. Like, if we want to go down a little bit of a dark path here and talk about the downsides of this AI,
of course we do.
It is scary for people. Like, I understand the argument from artists. Like, I also have a counterpoint to that. But there's artists that are like, why is somebody going to pay me $20 to spend hours drawing this like amazing image for them when you can just go type text in and get it?
Because there's a human behind it. They want that original.
That's what I said. That's what I've said.
And Aux is 100% right. So are you, David. It's the human element is what sells it, and always has.
Yeah,
because
and
let's be honest, China's ripped off everything. Like, why do people
still buy Apple you off, and people have been seeing your stuff all over the freaking internet? Then your stuff is going to become even more valuable.
Right. Yes. Right. So the way I see it is this can actually be a drive if you play it right. Like, if you're an artist, you could actually use this to your advantage, because now you can actually speed up your workflow if you wanted to, because now you could potentially get inspiration based on, like, artists like to look at something, like they'll create a setup, or what do they call that? Like, where you set up a bunch of stuff and look at like a model that for their paint. Now you can do that with Stable Diffusion. You say, oh, go create me images from these different viewpoints of this landscape, so that you have the mental image to look at it and draw your own, right? It gives you
the number of painters
influence.
Who project on their whatever they're called, the canvases, and then paint around, use that as their base inspiration.
Yeah, and the way I see it is, like, you can identify AI, at least for the moment. Again, this is going to be a constant arms race, but I genuinely don't believe that there will be an AI in a long time that will be able to fool every other mechanism that can identify AI attributes. Because in order to create something that is so flawless, like, especially when you're talking about imagery and video, to create something that is so flawless that there are no artifacts, no digital artifacts, no transition, no lighting issues, and it is 100% authentic, like mathematically confirmable, is well beyond the technology that we have right now, honestly. Like, we can get there to where the human eye, you look at it, it's like,
though.
No,
like,
it
does it need to be that good?
I think it should never be that good.
I think to persuade people, all you need to do is put that in their mind.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And, like, I feel like, and the other thing that I think people don't realize is that, and when I talk to my, to people in film and television stuff, is I keep saying, like, you don't understand, 30 years to AI is running something overnight.
Yeah.
Like,
you're only limited by bandwidth. It's
iterating so fast. And it's just, and the better it gets, the shorter that iteration is going to be. So as shitty as it is at something now, give it a fucking week. Like, it's, this is, we are operating now at a scale, at a speed that I don't think we can even comprehend. Like, I think that comes with the darkness as well, for sure. Yeah. But I think fighting it, like, what are we going to start, like, destroying the looms? Like, what are we, Luddites? Like, I feel like, I had an argument with a friend of mine that's sort of an ongoing about this AI stuff, because he's very, I actually asked Guillermo del Toro about it.
It's a very heated thing right now. I've been talking to people, like, all the last 2 weeks nonstop, of people on both sides of it.
Oh, it's all over the place.
Yeah.
But he said, he's like, this is wrong. They're not being paid. It has to be legislated. Maybe that's all fine and well. But he said, it's got to be able to look at it and say, this has been inspired by this, and this, and then pay them. And I said, okay, So that algorithm that's going to do that for you, what if I put your painting through it? And he's
Yep.
like, well, then it's original. They can't. I was like, no, it's not.
No,
Because
it'll
you've been
derive. Yep.
inspired by all
Everything's
these
derivative.
people as well. You don't even know it.
100%.
You're going to be fucking paying. If you want them to do that, then
Yeah.
you're going to be paying fucking residuals to whatever the artist is that inspired you.
Dude, that's
yeah,
a
is
great
the
way
Da
to look at
Vinci
it.
estate gonna get
Mhm.
tricklebacks from everybody who tries to paint like the Mona Lisa and stuff? Come on.
Yeah,
you know-
I mean,
you know
there's
how
people
bad
that
that
are
would
inspired
backfire?
by things.
I
Yeah.
do think there is something to be said about like where the data is coming from to train these models. I do think that there is something like, because like Facebook's gotten in trouble in the past for scraping facial data, right? Technically, yes, publicly available photographs, like you can just Google and web crawl and steal all that stuff. But
Mm.
like, I do think that there is something that needs to be said about
100%.
where the data is coming from to train these models. I do think that there's something there. But like you said, it's like the cat's out of the bag. Like you can't put the genie back in the bottle kind of thing.
Well, and it's the dangers of putting stuff out that they didn't realize before.
Right?
With the
And they
way
didn't
this
realize
model
putting
works,
their
though, you
stuff out
couldn't
there.
do that. So let me explain. So the reason that you couldn't do that with a model like this is because it's weighted and it's across multiple instances. Unless the thing it's trained on is like three things, like distinctively three things across the entire collective knowledge of humanity online, you're not going to be able to create that list because that list is going to be in the hundreds of thousands.
Right.
Because it's literally anybody that's like, if you ask it a coding question, how to do hello world, how many different like people have written hello world in different languages, different ways, being clever, being sarcastic, using the hardest APIs, simplest APIs, different comments. So it trains across all those. So it has to say that, well, all my weighted judgment, my ultimate answer that I'm coming to based on my tokenized answer that I stored is based on the collective weighting and training of all of these sources that I've looked at. So it'd be like your answer to hello world is printf hello world. The sources are, and then it goes on for 13 days and a terabyte of every URL.
It'd be footnotes and stuff, right? Like, hey, for where we found all where the model was trained on this data with the link, and then you can go look at the
let me give you an example for
whatever.
art. So let me use art because I think art is a better representation of what this would be used for. So let's say I'm an artist and I draw a picture of a sun in the sky, and like, you know, the traditional kid on the refrigerator painting of a sun in the sky,
the sun in the corner.
Yeah, there's a kid holding the balloon,
sunglasses,
and there's a sun in the corner, right?
Yeah.
I run it through. Well, here's what the AI is going to do: is it's going to go through and say, okay, based on your, you know, the painting here that you've put in, we can see that you were inspired by school children, like from all these different walks, these different schools around the world. You were inspired by their drawings. You were also inspired by like Picasso, who also did art that was kind of abstract like this, that's supposed to be professional, but it doesn't look professional. And it would go down that rabbit hole all the way to the point where it's like, oh, it also took into account the brush type that was used and who invented the color that was used here and the original color and who invented the pigments or collected the pigments and first patented them. It would go to the point where it's like, in order for you to give the proper credit that was due and to be fair to all the people that influenced that decision, it would just be astronomically huge. But if you just did the footnotes, if you just said, okay, let's set a threshold, if 80% of the answer, so just like you would in real life, right? You have to be, 20% distinct to not be copying somebody in trademark law or copyright law.
Okay.
So let's say you have to be 20% distinctive. And you can apply that same algorithm to this and say, listen, if all the collective knowledge that you've gleaned online, 20% of that or more came from one location, then you have to include that as a key point. So that way, if it's trained on things that are highly specific, so if you say, draw me a picture in the style of Picasso that is Starry Night, and it creates something that looks shockingly like Starry Night, but it's not Starry Night, right?
Yeah.
It would still stay down at the bottom that this was inspired by Starry Night because this is the only person that has ever drawn this thing that most of our knowledge is coming from right now. But then if 100 million people did a Starry Night drawing, which they do, right? People like to replicate art. And it looks at that and it says, okay, well, I saw this art from a million people. I don't know who the person is that originated this idea or this thought, right?
Right.
So, but if it can figure that out, if it can say the piece of data that was the root, the thing that got it looking was this, it should just name that top level one.
There was a great example that that someone used. I can't remember one of the articles I read. They said they put in the prompt, like a blue-eyed Afghani woman, and up came a representation of that iconic National Geographic cover.
Okay.
That is like, because that is the most iconic idea of someone in that, with that description. That is obviously referencing that National Geographic. It's not a ripoff, it's a painting of that. But should National Geographic get, or the photographer get their, get money for that?
gonna try something here. So
I don't know. I don't think so, because what's the difference from that than me just taking literally just like drawing that same photo, right, with pencil and colored pencils and stuff? Like, is that still plagiarism, or am I inspired by?
I don't know. I mean, that's I guess that's what I'm asking. Is like but it's so obviously referencing that. But yeah, you're right. If I painted that myself, then I would.
Should Bravo get a kickback because my teenager painted this image from their TV show? Should I pay the Pokemon company for this? You know?
Well, Pokemon would say yes.
Cover songs have. So if you do a cover song of an existing song, it used to be you could just do that, right? You were allowed to just do your own cover, and you could even publish it on your own album and stuff. Well, now they've changed the law where it's like if you do a cover, and from that cover, the person can determine that the song in its entirety is another song, even if it's slightly tweaked, right? You still have to have permission from the artist to do it. Otherwise, you can't sell it. You could post it, you could do it. It's artistic, but you can't sell it.
What's the difference between?
They can sue you.
What about parody? Parody, I don't need permission.
No. But that's the thing.
So what's the difference between a cover? What's the difference between a cover and a parody?
So the difference between a parody is that it's what do they say? It's self-defining. It is so no, it's basically you're not necessarily derogatory, but what you're doing is you're making fun of the original work and you're changing the words, or you're doing a play on something so that it's obvious that it's not the original creator that made it. Like for instance, if I did Twinkle Twinkle Little Star,
any cover is not gonna. I'm not gonna misinterpret a cover as like being the original.
No. But here's the thing. Like let's say Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Let's say that's copyright. Okay, somebody created.
But that's a parody of Row 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 Your Boat.
But see, that's the thing. If whoever wrote Row 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 Your Boat was still alive today, they could sue Twinkle Twinkle Little Star.
There you go. Happy birthday. Yeah, I mean the same.
That's weird. That's a weird distinction, and I don't know how to feel about
and
that.
This is only something that's happened like in the last 15 or 20 years. And the reason that they did this was because what was happening is they had all these artists that were basically just taking the bass track, like the bass melody of another song, and then just tweaking it by an octave or changing the instrument, but keeping the exact same notes and exact same cadence, and then changing the lyrics over the top of it. And what they were like, you know what, this rhythm that you're using, and courts have actually ruled in favor of the people that have been copied. Many things, Metallica, was it Iron Maiden? I mean, lots of if you go look, there's tons of cases where the song was stolen. Matter of fact, a Michael Jackson song was a stolen melody, and they actually had to pay. The Michael Jackson estate had to pay when he was alive, had to pay royalties to the people for the song that he created. So you have to be careful that the melody that you use is distinct and that has enough change to it that it's not. And some of these songs were like literally like the difference was dun 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 dun, versus dun 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 dun. It's like they're different. The notes are different, but it's enough that with the cadence and because it's going up or down the same amount that they could draw the conclusion that the original art was copied and modified. And so the court has to make that decision. But yeah, that decision has been made like a million times. And
well, it's funny you say courts. What happens when this AI gets applied to legal issues?
See, who do you sue? Who do you go after? That's the person that's trying to sell the thing the AI created, or do you go after the AI for even presenting that as something they could do? Because here's the thing, you can still perform it. If you have a cover, you can't sell an album with it on, but you can still make YouTube videos with ads disabled. You can still put it on your TikTok. Like you can't go after somebody and sue them for learning how to play Metallica or Stairway to Heaven on their guitar. But you can sue them if they make a Stairway to Heaven melody and sell it on a tape without giving proper credit and royalties to the original creator getting permission. And so I'd imagine that art is probably going to fall within that same realm. Like but here's the thing. This is where you were asking about parody, the distinguish between parody. So with parody would be what Weird Al does. And Weird Al has never been successfully sued because what he does is he takes the original melody, which normally if you use the same lyrics or even if you use different lyrics, he could technically be sued. But because he's making fun of the original work, which both identifies the original work, that it's, because obviously he's making fun of the original song. So you'd have to go seek out the original song to see what he's parodying in the first place.
Sure.
But it's also self-describing, meaning that he's intentionally being silly, and it's obvious to people that he's being hyperbolic in the delivery of it. So anything can be parody if you change it to where the person knows it's a joke, like Onion.
Well, and AI will learn that. If we're capable of distinguishing, then AI will be able to as well. And it'll be able to look at legal. How
does the Onion not get sued when it comes out an article and it's like, Donald Trump today or whatever came out with the new NFT trading card?
Oh my God, have we talked about that at all?
Dude, that's hilarious.
Hilarious. He sold them all.
He did.
The reasonable person sort of razor, right? Like no reasonable person would assume that this is real.
Right.
The way that Tucker Carlson gets away with his stuff is because the court said no reasonable person would assume that this is actually like
that's
true,
cool. Jim the Evo in chat, he just said Weird Al licenses his songs too, just out of he'd get covered under fair use, but just to prevent any lawsuits and to pay homage to the people. Because obviously he doesn't want to piss off the artist.
I wonder if he always did though. When he started out, like back in the
I bet you didn't.
I heard that the Gangster's Paradise parody was technically a no, like they didn't get proper permission from that. And Coolio, well, I think before he died,
he probably does.
Coolio had said many times that like, man, I fucked that up. Like, so I had people in my ear who really had made that decision, and like that kind of blew up out of proportion. But like, yeah, we didn't like officially let him give him permission for that one or whatever.
Yeah, we left money on the table and he did it anyways because his lawyers cleared it.
And he's like, man, I had people in my ear telling me like that was like we shouldn't and stuff, and like that was freaking stupid.
So like an example that was cited recently was like when Elon Musk banned all the people that were impersonating him when the $8 check mark or whatever came out. He was banning them, but some of the accounts were literally acting like him, saying things that he would really say.
My dog's going crazy.
So now those are bad. Those they get banned immediately because that's real impersonation. But if you have an account where you create Elon Musk and you're like, oh, I'm Elon Musk, I'm a stinky butthole, and look at my stinky butthole face. I like stinky butthole.
I start my day with a warm cup of my own piss.
Exactly. I like to spit my own farts or whatever. If it's something that's in a comedic context where you do a double take, if it's anything that makes you as a rational person say, from what I know of this individual, this isn't something that they would realistically say, or even if you don't know the individual, you find it hard to believe that anybody would say that about themselves, then that would fall under parody. But if it's anything that's believable in the context of that person and their regular actings and things that they do, then that doesn't fall under parody. So like the difference is if you say you're Elon, you like to sniff your own farts, and you post like a meme picture of Elon sniffing his own farts, obviously that would be covered under parody law. But if you posted like a real picture of Elon from an event and said something that pertained to that event that was delivered in a realistic nature and something that he might actually say if the situation warranted it, then you wouldn't be covered. And so it is a little bit of a fine line. Like a lot of these people, like The Onion has been sued multiple times. I don't know if any of them have been successful, but The Onion has been sued multiple times for making a story that flew too close to the sun. Where like I know that they did one like a while back with when Donald Trump was president. They did one where it's like, Donald Trump at Mar-a-Lago or whatever has trouble fitting through a door or something, like, he ate too much McDonald's and he can't fit through the door. And I think, I don't know if it was his legal team that like told him to take it down, but there was some legal dispute over some story that had to do with making fun of his weight. And the argument from The Onion was, well, he speaks highly of himself and he always talks about how he's the most fittest guy at his age and he's the best, he's the best condition he's ever been in his life. Those are things he says publicly all the time. He's never said once, I'm a fat person or identified as a fat person. So they argued that The Onion or whatever, by saying that, it's something that he would never say. It was uncharacteristic of something he would say. Therefore, it was seen as a parody. And if you explicitly say it's parody, then that's all you need to say. So like if you just say this is a parody, like if you specifically say this is a parody and then you say something that person might actually say in real life, then you can just say it verbatim and say whatever. It could be something that they really might say, as long as you identify it as a parody up front. But if it's self-describing, that's the rule of parody. If it's self-describing, it's parody.
And that will probably
defeats the point. Like that defeats the point of parody though, to call it out. Like
that's why it's self-describing, and that's the defense that you have under the laws. Like, listen, it's supposed to be funny because people do a double take. It makes them go like, "What the shit?"
Like that's a part of it.
Yeah, that's the part of it.
Or satire. I think that's it's not parody. It's satire. That's part of the point. Is that it's supposed to be believable.
Yeah, parody is changing the context of something. Satire, I believe, is like holding the context but exaggerating, like gross exaggeration.
Yeah.
So, but they both fall under similar laws in that as long as it's self-describing, it's considered a unique piece of work. Like, for instance, if you wanted to create, like, just like Weird Al, if you wanted to create a video that was like derivative of a Metallica song, you could use Metallica's melody to a point so that people would know that it was something that Metallica played. You could use the same cadence of words, but you couldn't use the same words, even if you were making fun of it and going, oh, derp, 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 one, derp, 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 one. Like, or you could do that, but it's still, if it was the original cadence of the song, and it wasn't obvious that it's something that they wouldn't create based on their history and what they've done, you'd be in trouble. You'd be in a lot of trouble. So you have to be really careful to ride that line. What's
like,
that?
is this all going to change it now? Like, I mean, are we
I
going to have to
think a lot of
rethink
laws have to
copyright and
change.
patent and
Well, dude, let's look at this. Let's break this
what happens
down
when
from
AI
what's
starts
already
creating
happened.
patented?
So,
like-
so let's look at what's already happened. Let's look at the internet, right? What has the internet enabled people to do? Like trade music. That wasn't possible before, right? Like you had to like take a cassette tape and it took time. Somebody had to buy a piece of material. You put it into cassette tape. You copy a song. You give it to your friend. It's like piracy was literally limited by technological spread.
Mixtape.
Like, a mixtape, but again, it's like unless it played on the radio, at that point we're still getting royalties from the radio station.
Yeah,
right?
we used to record the radio. We used to record the radio show at night.
I did when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So, but then what happened with the Digital Millennium Copyright Act? I think it was around 2000. Was people were sharing music so much that it was actually like having a huge impact on sales of physical copies because everybody could just download the song off the internet. But look at how they adjusted to that, right? It took a long time, but once they figured that out, they were like, okay, well, instead of selling, we'll still sell CDs because there's still a market for that. People want physical media.
Yeah.
We're like collections, but what we're going to do for the majority of our money is we're going to license to online streaming services, and then we're going to give you a legal avenue to be able to have that same convenience of downloading and listening to your music, but give you an avenue to do it legally.
Well,
and
but
by
it forced
doing
them
that,
to make money. It also forced them to make money through, like quantity. Like they basically, these companies own so many people that they can afford to only charge like 0.00001 of a cent for every time that someone plays the song. The artists can't. The artists can't afford
it. They
but
couldn't. They don't have the platform and they don't have the reach. That kind of reach, like that marketing reach. People, just because somebody likes your music and goes to your concert, likes your music, doesn't mean that they're a computer expert, right?
Right. There's this thing about a mixtape called Boner Jams 09 that I really
like. Boner
It
Jam.
speaks to me. It speaks
Man,
to
I'm gonna
me
go listen to my Boner Jams.
Well put, Anthony. Well put. Yeah.
So think about it. So let me ask you guys a question. I'll ask you both the same question. If YouTube Music or Amazon Music or Spotify or none of those services existed today, there was no other way to listen to music other than to physically go buy a CD and listen to it, would you be more likely to download like MP3s and stuff right now to like listen to music now than to wait for it to come out in the store, to find a store that has it in stock if it's always out of stock? Would you eventually just say fuck it and go download it?
Yeah, I did that
all the time.
I did that in the 90s.
I did too. And that's what
in the early 2000s. I literally did that because
me too.
I think I have personally owned 4 CD albums.
Yeah.
Really?
Period. Yeah. Yep. Personally, for my own self.
Swift.
Yeah.
We had a
in
lot
fact,
of
I think I could actually name them.
So
my dad got me an Nickelback Silver Side Up.
Okay.
I somehow got a Pink album by Pink.
I like Pink.
As like a white elephant gift.
Pink.
Yeah.
I personally purchased a Venga Boys album.
Never heard of them.
And I think I somehow acquired Eminem's second album.
Okay.
On CD.
So 4 CDs.
I'm sorry. I guess I borrowed that one. I maintained possession of a Sum 41 album for quite a long time, but I did end up having to give that back.
The only CD I ever bought was a Michael Jackson CD, and it was the only one I ever had, and that's the only CD I've ever purchased. Everything else has been either pirated or streamed.
Yeah,
we have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them. My wife has never forgiven me for digitizing them all and then losing them.
But artists make more money now, even though piracy of music is it's one of the top pirated things. Like music, I believe, is even more than movies if you look at it for not length of time, but like per download. So music is huge, but it makes more money than it ever did before. And the reason being is like, if you make an album to sell, you have to make a tangible item that sits on a shelf, physically takes up space, which means the people that go to that store, or maybe only 100 people can buy the song, but in the area, there might be 100,000 people within proximity to that want to hear that song. Yeah. So by them paying for a streaming service, which is cheaper than buying the one CD, it gives them access to an entire library of music that when they play this stuff, small royalties get paid. And overall, it ends up making more money for the artist than had they really locked down. And Metallica found this out the hard way. Like Metallica fought the system so hard, they wouldn't let streaming music play their shit. They'd only put it
they
on
were
CD.
They were the Luddites. They were the musical Luddites.
And they lost so much money and they regretted it later on and said it was the dumbest fucking decision. Like they still stand by the whole they do it for money thing. But they realized that was a dumb move. That was a really, really dumb move not to embrace technology.
Not just them, but the record industry as a whole really shot themselves in the foot by letting Apple come in and really change the industry because everybody, we've always done
Apple
it this
was
way.
fine until it got too expensive. Now I'm like, you want $1.99 for a fucking ringtone? I'll rip it off and do my own. Like
that's true. But in the beginning,
I would never do that, Apple.
In the beginning, $1 for a song wasn't that bad. Now it's all
Now
streaming.
it's like
And that's part of
$1.99
it
for a
too.
song. I'm like,
That's
I'm
part
not
of it
paying
too, right?
$1.99 for a song.
So it's like twofold. It's removing friction. People want to make it easy. People want it easy. That's why Netflix blew up. It was easier to, even in the beginning, it was easier to get DVDs sent to your mailbox than to go down to Blockbuster and maybe it's not there or whatever. Now it's easy, and then Netflix blew up because it was easier to stream all your movies and stuff for nobody wants to go through the hassle of pirating. Technically, it's probably easier to pirate, to search that shit up and download it. It's easy. But if I can have all of my collection all in one place, make it now that's why people are complaining, oh, there's too many streaming services.
I know. I want to watch a movie.
Because
I'm like,
it's too much friction. I have to go, okay, where is that one movie? Oh, I want to watch
you
this
should
movie.
have like
Where is it
revolving
streaming?
subscriptions where you can actually just go like, I want this movie, so just take the money that I put towards subscription and
Credits.
pay for that at the time.
Yeah,
Credits,
media
exactly.
credits, right?
Yeah.
I get 100 media credits a month.
Yeah.
And I can that
They
gives
go
me
to
access
whoever owns
to
the rights to that.
Yeah, it's 1 credit or 2 credits for 5 credits for a brand new movie that just came out, or it's only 1 credit.
Well, that's
for
why
like an old
YouTube
movie.
might be the way to go. I mean, YouTube's got the ability to do that.
Well, YouTube sells like regular TV
So
and
Amazon's
regular movies you
Amazon
can
and stuff
buy.
too.
Yeah. And if you buy it, like I bought, actually didn't buy it. It was I had a code for it, but I got one of the Transformers movies on YouTube, and I bought all my Rick and Mortys. All my Rick and Mortys that I watch, half of them are on Amazon, but then YouTube started carrying them, so I just bought them on YouTube because I think it was cheaper. And so, but the cool thing is, once you buy it, you can watch it whenever you want, as long as that service still exists. So the way I see it is, it's like normally to have a collection, you have to take up a big space in your house. Like for all the music that I listen to, because I'll listen to like 1 song per album, like of 1,000 different artists. So I would have to have a wall of all these CDs taking up all the space in my house. But the way I see it is, even when I buy the music, like if I buy the music or I buy it and I have it stored in a server where I can go watch it whenever I want over the internet, I see it as like just storing my collection somewhere offsite. It's like I bought my stuff, it's in a storage locker, and if that business fails, I see it as it burned down and my shit went with it, right? So no, what's that?
I saw it was like a Twitter thread or something. A person had their like music collection, right? A bunch of MP3s and ripped albums and things that they had collected over years, and had synced it to his Apple iTunes account, right? Because some of it's it synced it up and deleted the originals and matched it to songs that were on Apple's catalog or whatever.
That's right.
And lost all of these, like he had, because he doesn't have the CDs and stuff anymore, but like
that's why I got in trouble with my wife.
Yeah,
I put hundreds and hundreds of CDs into digital format.
That takes time.
And then the drive crashed, and that was it.
And so
that
like
pissed me off.
Like some of them were replaced with like live cover or live renditions and stuff because they're older album, and like or like the quality's different. He's like, man, this doesn't sound quite right. Like this isn't the original. Some of them were like replaced with non-explicit ones and things like that, and it's just outrageously pissed. Like
the funny thing is that I can get everything on. I can basically get everything on Spotify now, anyway. So I don't. Really
that's kind of where I'm at. Is like
Richard Kelby said, "You mean like Zune? Yeah, that's a wound, dude.
Sure.
Zune.
Dude, my boss bought his music library twice, and they went out of business and took it out. And he was like, "Why didn't I just pay for the streaming service? Like they had a monthly streaming service even back then. Like he bought the music because he liked to actually own it and have it like on his device offline forever. Didn't have to go resync to get it activated. And it took out like he bought probably $1,000+ worth of music, more than that. It was probably like $4,000." And it went out when Zune went offline. He was like, "Well, at least let me download physical copies." That no, you can't. They won't let you.
Just like Amazon deleting, like you buy a movie from and say, "Oh, it's part of your digital collection." If they lose the rights to
Apple,
it's gone.
The same thing for Apple.
Yep.
Apple to say like Apple. I had some films on one subscription. Some films on one account, other films on another. Tried to switch them over. Lost access to a bunch. I mean, their system is terrible.
DRM is painful. DRM is unfortunately the reason we have DRM is because of piracy, but DRM is not effective. Every DRM method that I've seen for videos, for movies. Now, don't get me wrong. There's DRM that is like pretty rock solid, but there's always going to be things on the side that get around it that still get you the same thing. And so DRM has never been that successful at keeping people from pirating anything. It doesn't matter if it's software, it doesn't matter if it's music. So it becomes just a huge inconvenience. And that's why I wish that they would get to the point where they're like, you know what? DRM should only be involved in the initial transaction. and then it should just be removed. It should just be taken out, because the thing is, if you're going to share it anyways, you're just going to find a piece of software or find a hack to break it and then upload it for everybody to download. So they might as well be like, you paid for it, so we can trust you more than the person that just pirates everything, right? You're obviously paying us money for it, so here, we trust you, take it.
But that's the problem, is you get treated like a criminal even though you paid for it. I thought that was software. It's like, aha, wrong code. It's like, fuck you, wrong code. I paid for your software. Like,
dude, it reminds me of the old PC games. You remember like the first DRM? So like back in the day, I remember. So my friend gave me a copy when I was at school. We used to trade, CDs to copy each other. So this is before the don't copy that floppy PSA, which we laughed at. But he brings to school a wizardry disc on 1.44 floppy, gives it to me. I give him my Doom shareware or whatever that I had, and he takes it and copies and I copy his, and we'd trade games like every week. People would come and we'd flop, on the playground. We're all swapping around discs, and it worked great. But then you started having like this crazy stuff where you had to have like a printout in the box, and then it'd ask you a question. Like Leisure Suit Larry would be like, "Oh, who was the vice president in 1974 under so and so?" Really? And you had to like turn a little like disc decoder to see like what the answer was.
Right. That's right.
And or you had to be like, they also said it was to prove that you were an adult, but it was still questions that like most adults wouldn't even know. But like the whole idea was there's only about 20 or 30 questions in total. So after you played it for a while, you just know the answers to all the questions, and you didn't need the document anymore because you just knew what it was in your head. Yeah. And so, but if you gave it to somebody else, they would also need a copy of the codex. But the thing is, people just started photocopying it. And so they do a Xerox, and now it costs them 10 cents to pirate it because they have to do a Xerox, so it's a little more inconvenient, but people are still doing it, right? And then after that, you had them come up with like these like decoder wheels and like really cryptic, like have to move a magnifying glass with like a decoder on it and stuff, so to make it harder to copy. But then people would just include that in the Xerox or create a different technique to
all the
copy
answers
it, or,
and stuff for the key.
Scribe it, draw it, or whatever, get the answers and write them down on paper and then scan that. And so they found ways around every single one. And still to this day,
is the new Avatar available yet? Is that being pirated yet? I'm just imagining.
I haven't.
Think about how much money.
Cam. There's always a cam, but never.
Well, the cam's different though. Awful. I mean, like because the funny thing about that is you think about like how much money was spent on that film. It's a digital asset. As soon as it's copied once, that's it.
Yep.
Yeah, like here.
Now, admittedly, you're not going to go to a theater. You're not going to see it with friends. You're not going to have the the seat shake because you went for in Dolby, whatever the hell it is,
or whatever that is, right?
But
actually, it's funny you say that. I just watched that last night. I was just at the theater last night and saw it.
Oh, did you?
Just tell me this. No spoilers. Was it good?
I would say it's okay.
Yeah,
I say it's okay. There was I would say there's a good maybe 20 minutes of where it's just like beautiful landscapes and stuff. Like they're just showing off how pretty the world is with the story not moving on. It's like a 3-hour movie, 3-ish hours movie.
It's a long one,
and at least 20 to 30 minutes of it could have been cut out because it was just like, oh, watch them swimming with like these fish and like
that'll drive me
beautiful just scene shots and stuff. Like it with nobody talking, no story moving, no, like part of me was like, man, what's happening with those guys? Like, why are we watching this when we could be learning what's happening with these other people? But overall, like it's another step forward in the story. Like it stopped at a like, hey,
there was a story.
Want to watch Avatar 3, kinda.
Oh,
that's
no, it
did his body transfer.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it totally ended at totally ended at like, we're just getting started kind of.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that drives me fucking nuts.
Yeah.
But the trailers
finish the story.
When the new Dune did that, it pissed me off. Like I want to see the second half. But I hated that when they did that. I was like,
when it ended, I was upset. I was so invested.
I physically
but it's a different feeling. I was so invested in the story that was happening in Dune that I didn't expect it to end.
Yeah,
I was pissed. I'm like, oh, that's it? This? I was just more like, of course,
dude. I was different. I yelled at the screen. And I said,
"That's my MCU
fucking Lee," and I threw the remote. And I said, "Are you fucking serious?" And I got up out of the bed because I was like you said, I was invested, right? And it was such a weird. Now people argued with me and said, "No, it's a great place to end the movie because it's like a cliffhanger." But I was like, "That is just the most fucked up." Like, only complete the thought or get to the place where something crazy is going to happen right after that.
It's like only in retrospect.
It felt like, huh? Why stop here?
Like, it just felt like a really odd place to stop.
But I loved it. I want to see that film again, actually.
I've watched it 2 or 3 times.
Yeah,
even knowing
like in the
Fury
moment,
Road, I was upset.
The Mad Max Fury Road.
Oh yeah, I love that.
So many times,
which is so weird. I can't put my finger on why it's such an enjoyable, because like if you step back, it's like they drive out that way and then they drive back.
They drive back again.
Yeah, there's no story. There's literally no, and they don't even explain half the story.
It's like
just-
watching a music video for 2 hours.
Kind of,
It's just-
right?
But in a good way.
Yeah, it's like look at all what is the women getting milked or whatever. It's like, oh look, they get all the milk or whatever for these
It's
guys, and these guys are
super
drinking
weird.
gasoline and stuff. And it's like, but they don't give you the backstory on like why they're doing it. Why is the drinking the gasoline not killing them? Like
I
what?
feel like
That's
they don't
why I
have
love
to
it. I love
perform.
that it's like figure it out yourself.
Yeah,
losers.
it's
I
like
love
that
it.
doesn't matter. All
Yeah.
that matters is this dude is stealing shit and leaving.
Yeah.
Mm.
And other people want to steal the same shit that he's stealing. The other guy's mad that he stole some shit and is going after him. It's literally just one giant GTA
Mm.
thing,
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
Grand Theft
kinda.
Auto,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
But the reason why you get so attached to it is because the characters are just so batshit crazy and different,
It is.
and it builds. It's like now you got these guys on these giant poles flipping around, dude with a
Yeah.
guitar,
bonkers.
like for no reason. Like why would you have a
It's
dude
just-
with
yeah,
a guitar
it's just-
suspended doing this? Like, but it's like it's
you know
just
what
so cool.
It's like art. It's
It is.
art. That in a way, it's like a violent art. That
You know
I
what this-
feel like.
You know what I just thought of? Okay, so we're talking about it being art and like you want to build on something. That's one thing AI is really good at, though, even with the artwork, is exaggerating. I've had things come out of Stable Diffusion that no artist has drawn. Like things that are just so out there, just trying to push the limits to see what it'll do. Imagine when this starts doing video, because there already is a video version of that. Have you seen the Stable
totally.
Diffusion 2? There's already somebody who wrote a script that basically uses the same seed, and it'll take
Mm.
each frame of video and do a Stable Diffusion representation of it in a different drawing style.
Lawrence
and you-
Moroney did that as well, where he had it create a spaceship and
Yeah.
then had Stable Diffusion take that spaceship and fly it through
Exactly.
future world. It
Yep.
was
So
amazing.
there's tools on top. So the tool is like Stable Diffusion draws a picture, but then there's a model on top of it where you train it to draw specific pictures based on specific learning. So you're like, only look at ships, only look at Star Wars ships, and create this amalgamation based on what I'm asking for. So there's all these different models that's trained on. And then there's a model that says, okay, I'm making a video with it. So make sure each picture you're drawing, you're using the same dimensional scaling of the objects as the previous picture. And so it keeps building and building and building. We're going to eventually get to a point where you can go into ChatGPT and be like, make me a movie like Star Wars, but everybody else is like 150% more intense.
And
And it's
Hewlett
going to
plays
take
every
and
other
crap
role.
you out a movie that is literally like Darth Vader's going to have horns and like red glowing eyes, and Luke Skywalker's going to be like muscular and look like he can lift 2,000
Well, where's your
pounds.
copyright then? Then what the
There's-
fuck do you do?
Yeah.
So it's funny you mentioned that. There's one of these like it's like a web-based video editor company. I can't remember if it's Rebel Way or something, but it's in that same industry. You can actually they do like a text to video sort of thing. Instead of text to image, it's a text to video. You can you plunk in your, like, say you got somebody walking down the street, right? You can roto that guy out and say, change the background to be a country setting.
Yeah.
And now he's walking down a country
I
road.
think I used something
Or
like that. It's
and I can't
I
remember.
want to say Wayfair or Way or
This is how
I think
easy it
that's
is to
why I
find
think
stuff.
I think it's Rebel Way is the company, and it was text.
So this is what I typed in. I just went to search engine, not even using chat. If ChatGPT was trained up, I'd use it to ask this question, but its data stops at 2021 right now. That's not going to be the case in the release, though. The release is going to train up to not real time, but close to it. So I just did a search and I said, hey, how do I make a movie from text? Like, how do I just make a movie from text using Stable Diffusion? And it popped up immediately. I get a link to lablab.ai, and it says, here's an article, Stable Diffusion tutorial, how to make a video with Stable Diffusion using interpolation. And then it goes through and it says, our goals are to make a video using the interpolation process. We will use Stable Diffusion model to generate images, and then we will use them to make the video. Fortunately, we don't have to write code ourselves for interpolation between latent scenes. We will be using Stable Diffusion videos library. So there's already a library. Is this on GitHub? Let me look. It is. So there's a library on GitHub called Stable Diffusion _video. And then it looks like it says, okay, if you want to know exactly how it works, go look under the hood on the GitHub project. So they don't really know about it. They're just using it in this demo. Okay, it says preparing the dependencies. So it goes to Google Colab, downloads, let's see, Stable Diffusion videos. It installs it with Python. It calls another library called Hugging Face, CLI. So Hugging Face.
Oh yeah,
client.
Hugging Face, right,
There's
right.
so many models
Yep.
from Hugging Face.
So it's but
So
step by
many.
step. You could do this. Like this, like right now here, I'll even point you guys to this tutorial. I've never done this before. I just found it was like the first search result when I just searched for, hey, how to use Stable Diffusion to make a video, right?
Yeah.
And so it says, okay, so you do Hugging Face, and then it says for generating the video, create prompt blonde woman, brunette woman, and it does some numbers. It says to generate the video, we need to define prompts between which models we will interpolate. So you basically have to describe the image, describe the things in the images you want to do the video of. And it says now we're able to generate images and videos using this algorithm, Stable Diffusion videos, prompts, list, prompt keys, uses different seed, output directory name, guidance scale, num steps, num interference steps, basically all the stuff that gets passed to OpenAI, right? or different models like it. And then it says after you do this, it says this process may take a long time. Well, each frame is going to take 15 to 20 seconds on high-end GPU. But overnight, you could make several seconds, right? Over a week, you can make an entire movie. It says
that's just a start.
Yep, there's some descriptions of parameters, but if you want to learn more, check out Stable Diffusion Videos code. I use 100 steps between prompts, but you can do more or less for better results. You can also modify the number interference steps and other parameters. Feel free to experiment to get better results. And then it said for bonus, it says you can also use more than 2 prompts. For example, you can have blonde woman, brunette woman, and ball. So you want to make a video with a blonde woman, a brunette woman, and a ball, and it'll figure out how to make a video from just those inputs. But here's the interesting thing: is this will make one scene. Like this little demo here is like, here's how you make one scene by just saying create an animation of 2 women and a ball, right? A blonde. But here's the thing: what if you created a tool that took all this code? Because this is code, by the way. This you can put this in a Python script and run it from this demo. All you'd have to do in this Python script is include OpenAI and go to OpenAI and tell it to write each scene. Say, write me a story, write me a movie. Say, create me a movie
prompt
that's an hour long.
In prompt format.
Wow. And then say, give me a step for each prompt so that it breaks it out in step 1, step 2, step 3. Give it to me in comma separated value format so that it gives you 1 comma this, 2 commas this. And then you could go and take this demo right here, put it in a Python script, and then do a for loop and say for each step in this CSV file, go through and feed this prompt to OpenAI to get the response back for it, and then pass that to Stable Diffusion Videos to generate the video of that scene, and then piece all those videos together that get generated, piece them all together using FFmpeg in another loop. And you would literally have a movie by doing those 3 steps. I don't know how good it'd be, but you could have a movie. And I may even do that today just for fun.
Well, so crowdsource it too. Like go get a community together. Like you get your Star Wars community together.
Yeah, this is crazy.
You get it to generate the thing, and then everyone goes off and does their own instance of their own 30 seconds of it or whatever. And you got a freaking movie in like
that'd be funny. Because like everybody's thing would be a little different, right? Like everybody's little 30-second clip would be just a little different, like even from the same prompts and stuff. Because playing around with the image generation, Stable Diffusion, the model that I'm running on my own, even with the same seed and prompt on another machine, it spit out a different image.
Can you get it to take the last image that it's generated and use that as the input image for the next one?
You can.
I think you can. Yeah, there's a way you can like train, because people have trained their own local instances of the Stable Diffusion thing on their own like image, like their own faces and things like that.
It can identify objects. If you feed it an input like Stable Diffusion, you say use my photo of my face.
Yeah, or enough photos, not just one.
No, I fed it one photo of my face in Stable Diffusion.
Yeah,
I said
that's all
because it was creating a fat person that didn't quite look like me for Barn. I said create a picture of YouTuber Barnacules Nerdgasm sitting in front of his microphone in the nerd cave, and it created some other nerd, like some other randomly generated CG nerd.
It never
cave
gets me right either.
But I didn't look quite right. Like I looked a little screwed up. So I fed it a picture of my face, and I ran the exact same query after training it on my face, and it grabbed my face and put it on there, and it looked way better.
That's
it wasn't
awesome.
perfect.
Well, the compositing aspect of it's hilarious too. If you think about it, you go like take this image and just replace the face with someone else.
Yep. Here's the thing
too. Like eventually it's going to get good enough that it's not going to know the difference, right?
So here, let's see. Okay, so my programmatic mind's kicking in here. Okay, so check this out. So if you stand back, big brain shit here. So if you create a face in Stable Diffusion or any AI generation, you say create a picture of a man. It'll give you a man that doesn't exist, that's made up from components of other men that they're morphed together to create what it thinks.
They all look
this person doesn't exist.com.
So even though that picture may not quite look right to you, like, that doesn't look like that person, or maybe it looks a little fucked up, the eyes are a little weird or something, note that it's following the rules of an AI trained to identify a face, which means if you pass that to a deep fake program like Deep Face Lab, it would actually look at that fucked up picture and be able to perfectly overlay a nice, crisp, sharp face over the fucked up, Van Gogh face.
Yeah.
So what you could do is you could actually go in and say, create a video of Barnacules, and I might try this out today or tomorrow, just see what happens. Say, create a series of images of Barnacules and thing, then run Deep Fake Engine over it to train off of the face in that video clip. Take my real face from the training I did off my YouTube that I've already done. I did that months ago. Take and run that against it. So now it puts my real face on the AI generated content, so you don't get the weird fucked up looking face. Right? It'll be my face undescribably animated to it. And then on top of that, you could do stuff like deep voice. There's a deep voice lab that you can do where you can basically train it on voice from video clips and audio clips and actually do the voice. So I can make myself say anything and then say write a script go create the fucked up video for like each of my little script instances, and then deepfake my face on it and deepfake my voice on it and create an outputted video clip of the end result of me, a clip of me in the lab doing something that doesn't exist, and see if it's even approximates something that people would identify as me. Look at that. I want to try this out, because this is another thing that gets really scary, is if you add a layer. So in automation, when I worked at Microsoft writing automation for many, many, many years, the one thing that fascinated me about creating automation is, just like in programming, it's very onion. It's onion-like. In object-oriented programming, you say create something that's low level that does a little job, and then create something around it that does a little bit bigger job. Create a thing around that does a little bit bigger job. And then pretty soon you have an object that's so high level, you're like, just go turn on all the lights in my house. And it figures out like what equipment every light is connected to, what brand of bulb, what protocol, all that shit's done from smaller and smaller objects encapsulated into the big one. So I can either ask each of the little things specifically what I want it to do, or I can just say, I want to do everything. And that API will go down and figure everything out with all the littler objects. You could do the same thing here with this AI. You could literally say, go create me a story about, or go look at the news. You could create things. Say, go look at CNET or some news site. Pull the article, find an article that somebody wrote about the news, take that and say, open AI, please take this text from this article and write a story from the perspective of a broadcaster. The character is the broadcaster, because the author of the story is going to write it from their perspective. So you say, from the perspective of this person writing this story, create this script. Then you feed that script into Stable Diffusion video and say, create me a script that follows this story element by element by element. And then you have it create that, you upload it to YouTube automatically. And then depending on how many views you get, and you scan the comments and you say, are the comments negative or positive overall? And you do this every day. As fast as you can post these videos, keep posting more and more and more. And what you do is you go off the ratings. You basically, people watching the video, if it's overall positive, meaning that something happened, either you created a good video that people liked, or you created something that was overwhelmingly funny that
keep creating more things like this.
You create more things like this. You go back and say, okay, based on this one that was successful, do this script, change.
Well, welcome to the future of Hollywood, because that's what they're going to be doing. Their marketing folks are going to be designing. They already are. Now AI is going to design movies for them, and it's going to be as freaking boring and dull as it is already.
That gets scary, because if you think about it, it's like it can start individually tailoring shit. Like, remember how, like, do you guys remember like months and months? I think it was a long time ago. It's like 6 or 8 months ago. Remember how I told you that it'd be really cool if you could watch a movie and then like have your friends' faces and your faces put on the
choose who you want. Choose your favorite actor to play the lead.
Yeah, and they've already got the technology, like the voice stuff and everything. You with the inflections, you'd be like, oh, cool. I get to be, Tony Stark or whatever, or the Incredible Hulk.
You're in India. You've got an Indian Superman. I mean,
it's gone so much further than that. Now with like the technology we're seeing and with OpenAI, it's like I could literally sit down. This is where we're going. It's straight up Star Trek. Now that you think about it, they walk onto the holodeck and they're like, oh, create a speakeasy or whatever, open this holo novel, and I want to do this in this scenario, and it just creates it, right? Imagine when computers get fast enough with the cloud computing and stuff that we have access to, that you're just sitting in your room, you turn on the TV and you're like, you know what I really feel like today? I want a superhero movie where I actually destroy Galactus or whatever, and I have an hour and a half to watch a movie. Like, I only have an hour and a half right now, so it needs to be an hour and a half in length, and I want it to be like a spectacular ending but leave room for a sequel. And then I just say that to the TV. I sit back, I grab my bucket of popcorn, and it gives me like a feature length, full CG versus real life, deep fake, like movie end to end with like this enthralling story. And then at the end, it says, hey, how did you like your movie? And I'm like, you know what? I really didn't like the suit. It'd be cooler if it had like more green.
It doesn't even have to ask you. It tracks your face and then uses that to judge what you're liking and not liking.
Even better, dude. Even better. It's sitting there watching your reaction to everything. And it's like, that's not the reaction that it wants to get for that specific scene. So it modifies.
And then it generates an NFT of the film that you can sell as your own personal experience.
Dude, we're all gonna have. Oh, you know what, this just came into my mind, and you guys are gonna cringe.
How about that?
Are we all just gonna be like, is the only job left in the world, like when this all converges and this becomes all mainstream, everybody knows about it? Are we all just gonna be running AI sweatshops?
Yes.
Is that going to be the only job left on earth? Is everybody just is using like what defines how successful you are and how much money you are is just how much better you are at running your AI sweatshop and how much more
become like
you are.
Who's got the most unique, twisted, personally appealing approach to like every movie so they released a new Marvel movie.
Yeah.
You watch it, and by watching it, you change what the film becomes.
Yep.
And so everyone's going to have their own unique experience.
Okay. But the thing that scares me about this is now you run into this weird situation, and somebody pointed this out to me the other day, and I thought it was hilarious. What happens if AI bots get so good that you can't tell it's not a human? Like, and they already are. Let's be honest, some of them already are.
That's
the point.
No,
going to happen.
No, let's say it is. ChatGPT is already here, right? So it could already happen. So how would you, if the bot is indistinguishable from a human, how would you know it's a bot, and how would the bot know that you're a human? It wouldn't. So you would potentially just have all these bots talking to each other and trying to scam each other from the perspective of the bot's going to be, oh, this guy's being funny by acting like he's a bot too. Oh, we know how to deal with that. Oh, I'm a real human, dumbass. It's like, well, so am I. I'm a real human too.
I mean, that's how the pen testing stuff's working now, where you've got like apps trying to break, you've got
adversarial
trying to break
networks
into things.
So let me ask you this: does this mean that, you know, where everybody was complaining about the power consumption of like crypto mining? Does that mean in the future 99% of the world's power is going to be used one AI versus another AI?
I was just going to say, when you said AI sweatshops, I'm like, man, instead of crypto mining, people are going to be buying graphics cards to power their own local instances of various AI models.
They're going to be selling out. They're going to be selling their GPU time to that instead.
I mean, you can do that. You can do that now. You pay AWS for an hour's worth of a million A1000s or A100s or whatever.
Like that makes sense. If you want to generate a video, that's the way to do it.
No, you totally can. And then you can host your own code and stuff. Like if you wanted to, you rent AWS AI time. They'll give you A100s, I think, is their current best.
Yeah, they're really high GPUs.
And you can load up your own models and stuff in there, and I think you pay by the minute or by the hours or whatever.
Something. How do we get rich doing this?
You got to monetize it, right? That's why I was saying. Okay, that's what I was saying, man. I think I could make a couple bucks off of this interactive chat bot, basically that just runs a solo D&D campaign for you. It's just you. It's basically a choose your own adventure, but it's like everybody gets their own.
I feel like we're headed towards that.
What's killing me is AI. Oh, peace out, man.
Get out of here.
This has been so cool.
This has been one of my favorite tech talks ever.
I'm like so inspired by this. I want to do tech talks like I want to do it hourly.
We will continue this next time.
Yeah, man, have a good one. Thanks for stopping by, David. It's always good talking to you.
And Barnacules, let me know about what's going on with generating the stuff, because if you do it, I'd be fascinated to see.
100%. I'll get on the same thread with you and AuxxZillary, and we'll just all share everything we come up with.
Oh,
perfect.
Man.
It'll be awesome.
Because this would be.
I love it.
There's already a service called AI Dungeon that I think runs off GPT-3 now.
Yeah. They were trying to get in touch with me. There were some guys trying to get in touch with me about that, but
wonky. It's not as smart as this ChatGPT thing. It doesn't remember. Well, the last I was playing with it, and I didn't ever pay, so it may. I'm
just remember, ChatGPT isn't what's intelligent. It's got the largest data set in the world. That's why it looks as awesome as it is, because it's got more data than any other AI ever has.
This is why these companies are going to become very quick, because the better data they've got, the better they're going to be. Which the more data they're going to get, they're going to very quickly become monopolies in this stuff, right?
We're all going to be developers by proxy. Basically what defines how successful you are is how good you are at training your AI to manipulate other AIs. It's going to be who has the best adversarial.
Okay, all right. Jim Nevo says it was Dungeon Alchemist, which I feel bad because they were trying to get in touch to walk me through it, and I just never had time to do it.
Oh man, that's a cool. I thought I had thrown my bucks at them during their. Not the Kickstarter, but they had like a separate one. And I even got an email saying like, hey, you should blah, blah, blah. And I was like, and I contacted them, and I guess I hadn't actually paid. And I'm a little bummed because it's like $45 now. And
Dungeon Alchemist, is that the one? That's the AI based.
Makes your own little battle maps and stuff for you.
Yeah. I mean, they wanted to get in touch. I mean, I could get in touch, I guess. It seemed like another thing that I would spend money on. And my wife's taking my credit card away, so I'm not allowed to do that.
I mean, it happens, dude. That's part of marriage. It's fine. You'll
borrow mine if you want.
All of a sudden, Amazon is like, Amazon is off limits. I was like, you can buy gifts. She goes, okay, you can buy gifts, but I snuck a couple of things in as well.
They're gifts for me.
Easy to overdo.
It clearly says from Santa.
I really don't want to go, but I have to. I'm sorry.
No, man. Have a good one. Peace out, man.
In the chat, if anyone does want to get, I'm happy to email the little scene. If you want to just email that. My David I. Hewlett at gmail.com. They can welcome to. I'll send it to them if they.
Cool.
I put a thing in about it saying just put something in the subject matter about AI, McKay, and I'll send you what I just generated here. If you
the other thing is, David, if you have time, like anytime during the week, weekend, doesn't matter what it is, hit us up in chat and let us know if you.
I gotta pop in.
Come join your shit and have fun. I can
when
tone it down.
I'm streaming Tuesday, but there's already 2 people probably, so it'll be confusing. But
No, we don't. I mean, whatever you're comfortable with, just hit me up. But like, if you want to
Yeah.
hang out and it's like 4 people or less, I'm good. Like, let's do it.
What is your streaming schedule now? What are you guys?
I
When do you
stream
guys
on
stream now?
Monday, Wednesday, Friday, either 3 or 6 p.m. I'm still trying to
Mm.
figure out a schedule with my health and everything, but it is getting better. The health is improving.
Well, ask AI to schedule it for you.
Yeah. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then with you guys on Saturday. That's my aside from that, everything else is pretty much open.
Right.
I try to do Thursdays, but I'm pretty open.
What are you doing on Thursdays? What are you building stuff?
I've been meaning to do PC builds and but
I feel like 2023. I feel like I want to dive both feet into like somehow like full-time internet shit with AI and podcasts, and I want to do all that stuff.
Yeah.
I haven't been more excited for technology. This ChatGPT thing alone has rekindled my love for programming.
So much fun.
I'm programming again now. I'm doing everything I haven't done in years and years and years because ChatGPT drugged me back.
I'm downloading Midjourney images and then changing them on Procreate on my iPad, and I'm having so much fun with it.
That's so cool.
It just opens up everything to everybody. It's like now Gimpy G has the same creative capabilities as any able-bodied person, and
you know
I think that's amazing.
Use it for evil.
Oh, dude, he's already made like 1 million vicious dick monsters. I guarantee it. So we just haven't seen him yet. We will. Though.
I did a great Gimpy G as Baby Yoda in a wheelchair.
Oh my god!
No,
you posted that, right?
Yeah, it was beautiful.
I saw it.
Like it was. I was like, I wanted to have it painted and put on my wall. It was like, worshiping a door.
Well, you can't.
All right.
Get out of here, buddy. We'll see. We'll see you next week.
All. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Support these fine folks.
Peace out, brother.
All right, I got to figure out how to get out of here.
How do I? We'll sit here and awkwardly look at you while you figure it out.
All right, cheers.
No, dude, this honestly has been one of my favorite tech talks to date.
Yeah, this was fun.
I'm having a lot of fun with this. This is pretty wild. And the thing is, like, the more you dig into it, like, you think, like I said, honestly, I've been sitting down and thinking about this AI shit nonstop because I've been playing with it, and it's really been, I've been having a hard time engaging on anything. Just because, like, my health has just been bugging me so much that it's like I just can't get into anything. This AI has been like a real, like, random but challenging thing that just keeps getting my mind. I want to keep asking it more and going deeper and deeper and deeper, and it's kind of getting my mind exercised again.
Cool.
And it's getting me interested in shit again.
Yeah,
I'm
man.
like, it's fun. It's amazing. But boy, the more I think about it, like just talking with you guys for like an hour and a half about it, I'm like, fuck, I went from like, this is like going to be the future of like creativity. Now I've gone to this thing is just basically going to become this massive hungry hippos where everybody is throwing the unlimited amounts of GPU power and everything, just trying to get to market faster with a better creation than somebody else. It's like people aren't even going to bother with sitting down and like trying to animate and do shit anymore. It's going to be who can get stuff to market the fastest from idea to creation. And the thing is, just like the stock market, if you look at the stock market, what bots did to the stock market, the same thing is going to happen with content creation. And let's be fair, to a degree, it's already is. If you logged into YouTube and search videos, how many videos have you watched in the last week that you clicked on? It's like, hello, welcome to News 377. Today, CNET says this article. It's like a synthetic voice, right?
Yeah.
And that's really common because there's a program that you can buy. It starts with a Z. There's a program you can buy. I think it's like $15 a month or $20 a month, where you basically just point it at any article. You go to any website, you point it at a news article, and it will generate you a video with voiceover, changing animations, and everything. It'll create the whole YouTube video and then crap it out, and it'll even upload it to YouTube. It'll even create the title, create the description based on your little keywords you put in and everything, and post it, and it'll just post a video every day for you. And so if you search on YouTube right now, just do a search for how to create automated YouTube channel, and there's a million of these YouTube channels.
I see that a lot.
Yeah, and I found ones that have hundreds of millions of views. Like, it's not uncommon. So these people that are making like 70, 80, 100,000, $250,000 a year in ad revenue on a channel that they've never touched the content on.
I saw a guy who walked you through how to create like automate the creation of those videos you see on TikTok where they AI, robot voice reads out a Reddit post.
Yep.
And he's like, dude, I have like 3 or 4 channels that do this, and I get like 200,000 views every video all the time.
And the reason that they're making so much money now is because you have to have, at least up until now, you had to some technical nature to know how to create the vehicle to do that. And people didn't share how to do it because they were making money off it. If you make money off an idea, you don't want to share it with people until it's no longer profitable.
But that's the thing is, like, the vast majority of people aren't going to do it. He's like, I don't even care that I'm making this video show. I'm gonna walk you through this step by step exactly how I do this, and I don't care because most of you fuckers aren't going to bother doing it.
I guarantee you, if you go look at his statistics, they're starting to go down because
Maybe.
there's so many more people doing it now.
But it's
like real estate.
So
Look what happened
many
with real
eyeballs.
estate. Like nobody told anybody about the real estate loopholes where anybody doing real estate was like guaranteed quadruple your money. The second the market got oversaturated and everybody figured out the trick, then everybody was selling a course on how to do it because they made more money selling the course than they did actually doing it.
That's what kills me most of it about these course people is like,
yeah.
Bruh,
So once it gets to the point, as soon as somebody tells you, like, if you give me this money, I'm going to show you how to become a millionaire. That means is they used to be a millionaire doing that. What they're telling you definitely would have made you a millionaire 10 years ago, but it's not anymore. And that's why they're selling you a course.
Yeah, that's what kills me. It's like anybody who's selling their like this is how I did it is probably making more money off of the course than they did in what they do.
Yeah. So the pioneers of technology are usually like the pioneers that benefit from something before anybody else can do it are the ones that make the lion's share.
Yeah.
And so like, you heard about the YouTube channel that posted, was it the first million video YouTube channel in history? So some guy created a YouTube channel. It lasted for 2 years before YouTube finally shut him down. 2 years he was making these videos that were just automated news clips. They were like exactly 10 minutes long, like in a couple seconds. They would just pick a random news article. He pointed at like half a dozen sites and it'd be like Fox News story, this, Tucker Carlson, Sean Hannity. They'd just make a video with a voice reading the article and then just putting, news clips describing the article. And it would get it so wrong. Like you'd click on it and be like, today Elon Musk releases new Tesla Cybertruck. And it would show a picture of like a gas powered truck. And then it'd be like, in the new battery technology, it would show a nuclear reactor when it's talking about batteries. So you could tell that it was just keyword searching Bing and grabbing or Google and grabbing images and then just putting them in a slideshow with power zooms and transitions. And so he uploaded, I think it was like 100 videos a day or 200 videos a day. And it would just, and so many videos were uploaded, and he just put massive keywords and randomly select the keywords based on the content. And he basically, each video was getting, I think it was like 7 to 12 views a day. But when he had 1 million videos, that was like 7 to 12 million videos or views a day across his entire library. And so even though none of the videos were popular, none of them showed up in search engine, they were only found by like a handful of people each per day. He was still making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month in revenue. And so YouTube finally caught him. I think it was after a year and a half because people were reporting him like crazy. Because I guarantee you've seen a video from this guy and you just clicked off of it and shut it because he had so many videos that it didn't matter what you searched for. It didn't matter what topic you searched for. He was within the first 3 pages. Like he had a video in that first 3 pages because he uploaded so many. But he finally got caught. They finally took him down, and now they're trolling channels. And if you upload too aggressively, like too many videos in one day, a human will actually eventually look at it and be like, "Ooh, is this automated content or not?" But it's not expressly against the rules yet. But I do have a feeling that with as much as we're seeing it now, like we're seeing, like honestly, I've never seen more automated channels on YouTube in my life. I think it's going to get to a point just like with the reply. You remember the old Reply Girl videos where people are like, they just watch a video and in the corner and be like, "Oh, that's funny, ha ha," and then they get all the views of the original video.
Yeah.
That got canceled, and now I think what they're going to do is they're going to probably put something in there that says you cannot create automated generated content on the platform, at least not in its entirety.
Yeah.
So they're going to probably do the same thing Twitch did. Because remember when Twitch had the rule back in the day that it was like on Justin TV, you could just stream 24/7 you sleeping?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Then they had a rule that came out that said you have to be active on the channel and speaking in front of the camera at least once every 30 minutes.
I think they've loosened that up recently
because
I've seen a few like, oh, let's if you donate, the stream goes for an extra minute or whatever like that. And I've stumbled across them like halfway or at some point in the stream and like they're sleeping, like the lights are still on and stuff, like you can see them huddled up in the bed, but I'm like, why not? Like, fuck it, like why not let them put out whatever content? Like if people want to watch you sleep, why not?
Yeah, well, MakerDeck did it. So MakerDeck's just 24/7 showing 3D printers printing stuff, right?
Sure.
And that channel's been growing like crazy. So
great.
There's people that want to watch stuff like that. They just want to chill and watch 3D printers print stuff. So back in the day, that used to be the rule because I tried to do the same thing. Like I was the original MakerDeck years ago. I used to just have a camera on my 3D printer 24/7.
I got fucking Puget's Twitch account banned for 24 hours for doing that at PDX Land.
Same thing.
I was just streaming the printer and I come back in the morning and we've been kicked off of Twitch for 24 hours.
Yeah, I had to message my partner manager because I couldn't log in, and he's like, "Oh, we had to suspend your account because you weren't on camera for 30 minutes and somebody reported you."
Yeah.
And he actually did remove the ban. He did because I had a partner manager. He removed it. But I was like, damn, seriously? Like somebody reported that I wasn't on camera. They sat there and watched for 30 minutes just to say I wasn't on camera and report me so you guys would look at it. But people are just like
people
that.
Are people.
But people will be humans. Humans will be humans.
People be peopling.
So God, that raises a whole nother thing. What happens when AI starts being like, I need to defeat this other guy and I can't compete with him because he has more bandwidth. So I'm going to compete with him by like just spreading videos that make false accusations and make 1 million of them so nobody can search this guy's name without seeing 100 of my videos before one of his real videos. And you basically just create a human DDoS with bots. That will fucking suck. And that's going to happen. It's going to happen. Like, honestly, one of the funniest things right now on Twitter is if you go to Twitter, I want to see if this happens to you. Go to Twitter and just type in the box Elon Musk, like the words Elon space Musk in search, and tell me if his account's first or if the $40 million in debt Elon Musk account is first.
I see his legit account first, and then one that is actually at Kyle Kinane, Elon Musk for serious. I'm totally something with a photo of Bezos as his profile picture.
So it looks like it's different based on like your viewing habits or something. Because I did a search for Elon Musk the other day, and it pops up in the very first account that pops up when I search Elon Musk is Elon Musk's $44 billion lost parody account.
Oh, weird.
Pops up first before him.
Following him. I don't remember following fucking Elon Musk.
He probably made you follow him. But no, it's like, so if you flood enough videos, so like if you create enough videos with enough keywords and somebody searched for your name and all of a sudden there's a channel that has 5,000 videos about AuxxZillary and you only have 3 videos, the logic of the algorithm is going to be like, this channel is probably more about AuxxZillary and the videos are probably more relevant because he has so much more of them.
Yeah.
And it's probably like if they type in a topic, the odds are because he has 5,000 videos with 5,000 sets of tags, chances are he's going to have the tags and keywords that match on your search more than you do on your 3 videos. So it's going to get to the point here pretty soon where it's like you're going to search for and this happened with the reply, again, back to the reply girls. There was a time on YouTube where any search, didn't matter what you search for, you could search for like, I want to make a hot dog, I want to barbecue a hot dog, and it would be like 15 videos of epic meal responding to epic mealtime.
Oh,
and you would never actually get, even if you search for it and you said epic mealtime, you wouldn't get epic mealtime. You'd get the reply girls replying to epic mealtime videos just by watching them in their entirety in the corner, laughing and making jokes about it. Yeah, so the algorithm changed to basically shut those out. So now if you say that you're reviewing something or you're watching something, you don't add anything to it, you won't get any kind of SEO unless you're already a huge channel that did that. So that's pretty much dead for most people. But I've noticed a resurgence of it lately. Like I do notice that I go on YouTube and I search for a video, and instead of finding the video I'm looking for, I find a video of like Moist Critical or something responding to it. But at least those guys watch it a little, stop it, talk about it, watch it a little, stop it, talk about it. The reply girls would just straight up play the video start to finish and hardly even say a word. And sometimes they wouldn't even have a face cam. They would just be like, every once in a while, ha ha ha, that's funny. Oh, did you see what he did? Ha ha, lols, that's funny. And they'd overact, right? And it would get like 10 million views, and then you'd click on the original video and it'd have like 500. And so they were basically shunting revenue, right? There was a way to steal revenue from people because they were the more popular channel. Oh, SoFlo Antonio, you remember that guy, right?
Nope.
Is that you or me?
No, it's something falling.
Okay.
Sorry, baby.
Well, it must have been something falling in his house. I was like, what the shit, man? This microphone and headset makes it sound like ambient. So it's like, it sounds like it happened here. But SoFlo Antonio is a channel on Facebook that would go do basically like daily dose of internet. It would go out and find the top most viral clips every day on the internet. Like it basically just go sort by popularity on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. And then what it would do is it would take the clip in its entirety. It would watermark SoFlo over it so that you couldn't do a pixel for pixel analysis. So down in the corner, it would just say SoFlo, that he'd use FFmpeg to stick it on there. And then he'd just repost it to Facebook and he'd steal the title, he'd steal the keywords, and he'd steal the description and then put it on YouTube. And so YouTube had this channel. It's the top channel on YouTube for like 5 years, where it had like literally, it was like 10 million followers and it was huge, but he would never credit anybody. It would just be like, here's a video like in its entirety from somebody, and it would say SoFlo. It would steal their title, steal their description. You'd never be able to know who to find the original video. It would look like SoFlo made it. And so his channel blew up, and he actually ended up selling the channel to a company for several $1 million after he milked it to death. And now there's rules, like now they have to give credit. Now they have to actually modify the videos a little bit, at least I think last time I checked. And they're no longer the biggest channel after those rules went into play. But the thing that sucked about it was people would go and watch those. And then instead of sharing the video that's the original content that they laughed at, they would share SoFlo's link. But because they shared SoFlo's link, anytime somebody searched for a video that was like video of bass, you know, jumping into boat or whatever, it would pull up SoFlo's video first, and the original video would still be like on page 3 behind all the other SoFlo ripoffs. And so you couldn't get anybody to watch your video unless you were already a big guy. As soon as SoFlo published it, you were done. He got all your revenue. There was no way for you to get any more. And so that model has been attacked. Like the algorithms are definitely trying to make that less profitable, but they don't know how to do the AI stuff, because the AI stuff is creating unique content. It's also not using the words verbatim. Like one of the things I saw on the automated channel. So I accidentally stumbled across it. I wasn't even looking for it, but while I was looking for videos, and it's like how to make fully automated YouTube channel. I'm like, okay, what's this? And they showed a couple programs and different ones I watched. But the one thing that was common is they all used a service that you paid for. It was a pay service. Now you just do it free with OpenGPT, but it was a pay service that you'd basically take a block of text, a huge block of text, you'd paste it in there, and then it would basically go through and change all the wording and all the grammar so that it was the same exact story with the same exact points, just different words. And it was basically to prevent you from getting a one-to-one match, content match on stealing a story. So you'd point it at a web page, say go, or an RSS feed. It wasn't even a web page. You point it at an RSS feed and you say, go get all the news of the day, find the most popular news, and then feed it into this program. It'll post this. It'll change all the wording. So if it's like, hey, hi, I'm Tucker Carlson, and today I'm going to say this about this, this, and this, it would reword it to, hey, new guy's name here. I'm going to talk about this today. You know, but it'd be the same context, sentence for sentence. They would just change the words and grammar. And so that was getting spooky, because now it looks like unique content, because the pictures they're showing and the jump cuts are unique, right? The punches that they're doing, the transitions are unique, and the audio they're using is unique because they're using a text-to-speech synthesis and an audio voice, and the text that they're reading is unique because it's the story completely reconfigured into different wording, so it's nowhere close to the same text. It's like a different author made it. So now that you have all the automated capabilities to create those, you can completely end-to-end create and upload a video without ever having to touch anything once it's set up and running. And I was like, dude. And so I went and looked. There's tons and tons of channels on YouTube that do this. Oh, and they even generate the thumbnails. There's a service that you can pay for. It's also built into the program, but it did a shitty job. There's a service you can pay for in one of these videos. I want to say it was like $10 a month that'll create thumbnails for you. And all you do is you send it a link to the YouTube video, the unlisted YouTube video. It'll watch the YouTube video. It'll find the frame that is most relevant based on what images people are clicking on, like CAPTCHA kind of stuff. Yeah. And it will actually find the frame that is most relevant. It'll put it there. It'll amplify any of the faces by like zooming them in, making them like bobbleheads. And then it'll overload the most obnoxious text that is the most keyword clickbaity, top ranked keywords. And it'll do it in a word. So it'll be like, you know, if you have a video that the title on it is like, you know, top now, you must see 5 best things you must have for Christmas. Do not miss. The thumbnail will be like a bobblehead of a guy, and then like a couple pictures cut out of the items that you're describing, and then down at the bottom it'll put big words. It's like, you cannot miss or must watch now. Yeah, must watch. Exclamation point or whatever. What we need. Dude, and it was like these videos were getting hundreds and hundreds of thousands of views on these channels. And then the guy's video that he has is the pinned video on the channel is like, oh, here's how to create your own automated channel. And he's like, these are the tools I use. And of course he has affiliate links for the tools. So, you know, he gets a royalty from you signing up and using them. And he's like, here's the tools I use to generate this channel. And here's my analytics. And he opens up the dashboard and shows that the channel's making like $6,000 or $8,000 a month on autopilot. And he's like, this is one of 12 channels I have.
See, that's what I'm talking about, man. That's it. I want that.
See, that's the thing that sucks is like I have too many ethics, man. It just drives me nuts because it's like, man, it makes everything so much harder in life when you have this many ethics.
So just take pieces of it, man.
I gotta find a way.
You can still play within your boundaries.
That's what I need to do.
Just make it easier.
Instead of saying go look at a story and just plagiarize it and reword it, I would be more okay with like, what is the top news right now? Like, what is the top news that is reported? And I will go write the story. It takes me what, like 15, 20 minutes to write a script for a story. Yeah. So go write my own story. That way I know it's unique to me. And then as far as getting the content and the imagery to put into the story, just go pay a photo service. Like go pay a subscription to one of those services that pays royalties to artists for taking pictures and stuff, or use Stable Diffusion to just approximate it. If I did something like that, then it would be more ethically in alignment with I'm okay with it.
That's okay.
So there is a way. There definitely is a way. But man, it's like, God, if you want to be just a shitburger and just steal and just fucking like just take advantage of people and manipulate them, fucking A, there's so much money to be made. Like, dude, like I said, if I created, like, I've got 38 in here, I got a 37 downstairs. I could pay AWS, dude. If my videos are making like $20 a month, I can afford to pay AWS to do this shit, right?
You're not wrong. I feel the same. I feel the same kind of way though, because like, I've made some not insignificant money, not like 5 figures or anything, but I've made some money just selling like PC fans on eBay, like knock to have PC fans, right? And there's a lot more I could do too to like help myself get further along with the goals that I want and things like that. And I don't. It's hard to have that internal push. So I get it. Like as much as I might be like, hey man, you know, it's easier to pump somebody else up.
It is. It's what do they say? It's easier to give advice than to take it yourself.
Right. So
what really drives me nuts though is that we live in a world, and this is a little bit of a rant. We live in a world where it's like whoever has the least ethics and the most drive will win. Like it's not even a matter of like if you have 2 people that are both ethical and moral competing against each other. If you have the guy that is like a fraction of their intelligence that has no morality at all, they will succeed. If they are willing to scam, steal money, have no problem lying to people, there is so much money to be made. And I've seen this pattern play out all over the internet. Like for instance, lately I've been actually I kind of want to look at this here. Let me see how successful this has been. So I've been doing that affiliate sniping for the scammers.
Sure.
So and I told other people how to do it. Like I'm not keeping this to myself. It's like if you see an Amazon Facebook ad or whatever that's promoting some Chinese bullshit for like 50% off right now, Christmas sale only, go to Alibaba.com or Amazon, find the link for the same product. You can even use the keywords they're using to find the product. That's how lazy they are. Find the product, get your own affiliate link for whatever service you have, paste it in there, say, hey, get it for 1/4 of the price or 1/6 of the price and get it shipped overnight and free returns. And then just post that in the comments and just do that repeatedly for like every ad you run across. One, it helps you out because pretty soon you stop seeing ads in your feed because they all block you from their ads and future ads because they don't want you commenting. So you don't even see the ads anymore. But it also means that people, when they look at the comments, they're like, oh, that's a product I want to get for Christmas for a friend. They go down and look at the comments, and usually your comment will be top ranked because people will see it and move it up to the top. That's like, oh, dude, this guy found it here for 1/6 of the price on a site where you can return it if you want for free. And you can't do that with their deal. And so when I did that, let me see if it's actually, I noticed that my affiliate commissions went up by 50% in 1 month by doing that. They weren't that big to begin with though. Still, but I'm curious to see. I haven't checked it in like 2 weeks, but I also haven't been pushing aggressively. Yeah. But let's see what it's at. So I mean, yeah, I'm about $40 up from what I would normally make this month.
Yeah.
So I'd say that it's been somewhat a success. Plus, I'm not pushing anything. Last year, I pushed a lot of like, hey, go buy this on Amazon. Go buy this on Amazon. I didn't do that this year, and I'm still ahead of what I had last year. So I do think it works. But then I thought I was writing a bot. I was like, dude, I could write a bot that all it has to do is just pull page after page after page of search, new posts on Twitter. Look for anything that has promoted. If it has promoted, separate the keywords, go into ChatGPT or OpenAI and say, give me all the variations of words that you would use to search for an item of this description. Take that, copy it into Amazon, copy it into AliExpress, copy it into eBay, grab an affiliate link for all 3 of those. So you can be like convenience, cheapest, and somewhere in the middle, right? And point those and auto-generate a thing that's like, don't buy this crap from this person. 50, you can get it for 1/6 of the cost here. Click this link or whatever. If I did that and just replied to 10,000 promoted posts a day on Twitter, and one person or out of every 10 posts actually used my link to buy it to save money and not get scammed by the person, that would translate into tens of thousands of dollars a month in revenue. And I'm like, so I thought about that. I was sitting down. I was trying to find like an ethical quandary. And I'm like, no, I'm saving people money. 2, I'm screwing their scam. So their scam stops working. So it's wasting their money and wasting their time. And I'm providing people with an ability to try the shitty item out way cheaper and return it if they don't like it, which they can't return it with the scam. Because what the scam does is it drops shit. So if you guys want to know how the scam works, if you ever see a promoted ad, and it's for 99% of them, there are some legit ones here and there, but 99% of the time, like seriously, a solid 99, not exaggerated, it'll say promoted and it'll be like, oh, 50% off this like really cool item, phone holder for your car, back massager, piece of artwork, video game. it'll always be something like that. It'll be like, oh, 50% off sale, limited time only. And you click on the link and it takes you to a site that's like a default point of sale website.
Yeah.
Basically add item to cart, get 2 for 50% off second item. And then you click shipping and it'll even add like a tip. If you look at the summary, when you check out, it'll be like tip $1.99. It's like, who tips on an online sale? Right? It just adds it hoping you won't see it.
Yeah.
But then if you go to Amazon and you find the exact same item that they're claiming that they create, all these ads say that they create this item and it's their item and it's revolutionary. Nope. You go find the exact same item, even has the same text on it and everything on Amazon. It's usually about a quarter to 1/6 the price with free shipping. Whereas with them, when you check out, it's 6x, as much with the shipping, and 3 weeks from China versus overnight from Amazon, and no returns. All sales are final. And the reason that they do all sales are final is because the way the scam works. And so again, if you're unethical, you can make a lot more money, because what you do is you say, go create a point of sale website using Squarespace. So go to Squarespace, create an account, you create an automated point of sale website, you go to Alibaba and you say, what are the top 10 cheapest items on Alibaba that are selling right now? And it'll pop up and it'll show you the top 10 items. What you do is you copy all the images from that item, you go over to the website, you paste them into the little spot, drag and drop them over, and you put in a fancy description like, oh, this item revolutionized this and it's 50% off. And then you put in a fake price that's 6x whatever the price it is on Alibaba. And then you basically add that, and it takes you maybe 10 minutes to create the web page per product, 5 minutes. You can even farm it out to somebody else. You create that, and then all you do is go create an ad campaign on Google AdSense and an ad campaign on thing that says, put this at the top search results if somebody's looking for something that matches the description of this item, and put sale in big letters, click here, with like an image that's very, very clickbaity of like how awesome this product is. And people will click it and people will buy it. And then to put it out to like 10,000 people, it's like $100.
What is it?
Like
You only need
targeted.
You only need like $200 a day or something to be like over 100 grand, right?
Yep. And so all you have to do, the conversion rate is literally like for every 5,000 people that see the ad, only one person has to buy the product. And that pays for everything.
That's
easy. People buy the product, you doubled your money.
So many people.
So now what you do is you create that, and then what you do is every day you say whatever campaign was the most successful, you run that one again. The profitable campaigns, the ones that only broke even, you just delete those. You're like, okay, well, obviously people didn't resonate with that. And you just keep rinsing and repeating. And you're putting your ad in front of 500, 600, 700,000 people, maybe 1 million people a day for like a couple $100. And if like 500 people buy out of the millions of people that you put it to, you just made like 50 grand. And so that's how all these scams work. And most of them are the same person. You can tell from going to the website and seeing how it was created and everything that they're all the same website, just with different business names. Because what they'll do is they'll create a business name, because when you do the ad, if you have a business name associated with it, you get other options you normally don't get.
Right.
So they create a business. They just make up a fake business name. Nobody verifies any of it. You just put in fake business number or whatever. It doesn't care.
You might need to confirm with like an EIN or something.
Yeah, maybe you have to do like, I don't know, maybe create an LLC or get a domain name or something like that.
Oh, $200. Oh.
Yeah, but it's basically like you invest in it. It's like, because they have no ethics, they know they're ripping people off. They're lying about it being a 50% sale. And what they're really doing is, and the thing is, they don't even furnish the item. Like, I understand there is a real business for drop shipping. I'm not dissing on you if you're a drop shipper. Amazon, most Amazon things are drop shippers. So that, and if you don't know drop shipping, what it is like, say I buy items from China for $3 a piece, but then I sell them to you for $9 a piece, but I can ship them to them overnight and I can do the customer service. Whereas with China, you would have to wait 3 weeks for it to get to your house. And if you had to return it because it was broken, it'd take 3 weeks each direction. So you're paying $9, you're paying double the price or 3 times the price to get the item now and have the ability to get customer service. That's drop shipping. So there's a legitimate reason. Do I want to wait 3 weeks and save a couple of bucks, or do I want it tomorrow for a little bit more money? So you're providing a service. What these goddamn scammers do is they sell the item to you, and all the page does, all the back end of the point of sale page does, is it calls a script that sends the order field for field to AliExpress. So it takes your money.
There's others, but
it takes your money through Stripe. It then takes the money out of the account, and then it sends the order to AliExpress to send you like the $3 item that you paid $40 for. And then what happens is if people charge back, like if people say, "Oh, I didn't get my item," or even if like 5% of the people charge back, you're still in the money, because the item was so dirt cheap. For every one person that buys an item pays for the next 6 people. So, but the thing is, they're never holding any inventory. There's no risk, no inventory, because all they're doing is forwarding the ad verbatim to another place that user could have gone directly to and ordered it, and they'd get the same box with the same writing in the same period of time. And it's such a goddamn scam. But But it's just one of those things where it's like somebody without any ethics was like, oh yeah, if I lie and say it's 50% off and people aren't very tech savvy and they see this and they're like, oh man, because a lot of items look expensive that aren't expensive. Like an example was I looked at one the other day that was a glass egg. It was a glass egg that has a dragon in it. I'm sure if you're on Twitter, you've seen this ad like 100,000 times. It's a glass egg, like a see-through glass egg with a dragon inside of it. And it looks really cool. And it's like 50% off. Normally $99. Now it's $49.99 for the next 30 minutes. Like in the ad, if you click on the site. Yeah. So all I do is go to Amazon. I just do a search for transparent glass egg with dragon in it. And I hit enter, and it's the very first link. And the egg was $12 shipped overnight with free returns. Whereas if you bought it through that website, it was $49 plus $10 shipping and handling for 3-week express delivery from China, right? Express 3-week, and it said all sales are final,
of course,
because obviously they can't replace your product because they never had it in the first place to send it to you. They just had somebody drop ship it. And so they have no liability at all. Whereas if you buy it on Amazon, it's somebody who actually did stock it. Like they actually have it in stock at the Amazon warehouse. They've already paid for it. Now they're holding it to sell it for a profit. But goddamn, man, these guys figured this out. And then what they do is each time they make a campaign, if it's successful, then they'll redouble it. They'll double the budget on it and then triple the budget and quadruple the budget, because they'll see a trend between how many people see it versus how many people buy it. So it's like, oh, I'll just run the same campaign again, but I'm going to do $200 and $300 and $400. And if it's still successful, you just keep upping it. And then as soon as you get to the point where it's not very profitable anymore, you just cancel it. You just stop it there. And you find another product and you're done. You just kill the website, create a new fake business, get a new fake domain. There's so many domains chewed up by this. Like, dude, it was getting to the point where the domain names were just a random word out of the dictionary twice and then .com. Like don.com, the.com, this.com, buy this from dong.com, buy this from whiz.com. And it's because all the words in the dictionary are used already. So now they just use the word twice.
Yeah.
Or I found one that put a number after it. It was like don69, don43, don12. Buy it from don69.com. And they just add a number. It's like, God damn, dude. And it's so if you have no ethics and no morals, there are just millions of dollars out there just waiting to flow into your account. But if you have ethics and morals, you have to work way
a little bit harder,
much tinier piece.
Yeah.
But here's what I would say to you guys though, is all those people that do those bad, shitty things, they get what's coming to them in the end. They all do. It doesn't matter, because they will keep getting greedier and greedier and greedier, and they'll keep doing it over and over again. They won't know when to stop, and they will eventually get fucked. We see it happen to everybody. We've seen it happen to Elizabeth Holmes. We've seen it happen with, what Elon Musk went from 300 billion down to 100 billion. Oh, boo-hoo. But still, it's like people do get their comeuppance available. When you treat people like that and you abuse people like that, it eventually does catch up with you. But so I would argue that if you take the time and you do it the ethical way and you're willing to take a little less and you're willing to put a little bit more effort into it, at the end of the day, you're going to be the person at the end that's able to do this forever and keep evolving it, and people will trust you. You burn your trust, you're done.
Yeah, that's it, man. Like you can get it back. You can do really well by playing within the boundaries of your own, rules and stuff.
Yeah, look at Logan Paul.
It's totally there.
So Logan Paul right now is being called out for a scam video game, crypto video game thing he did. It was called Animal Coin.
Yeah.
And so when he created it, he raised I think it was like $50 million or something that people invested in these eggs for this game that were supposed to hatch. It was like a Pokemon ripoff that he created. And apparently he didn't pay the developers. He got greedy. He didn't pay the developers before it shipped, and they stole the code and ran off with it. And so he didn't refund anybody. He basically was just like, comes forward, oh, not my fault. Like I created it and I backed the project and I said I created it and I made all these promises, but somebody else screwed me. So there's nothing I can do about it. So you guys are all just out of your money. It's not my fault. And normally that had worked before because he's done this for many other projects. But because the blockchain, more people understand it now. More people are getting skilled at searching it and figuring out how to go through and figure out where the transactions are going. That all the stuff they did to cover their tracks over the last several years across all these crypto scams is now being figured out by people. And they're able to present the evidence now. Like CoffeeZilla created an entire 2-hour, 3-part 2-hour series on Logan Paul that breaks down all of his scams, all of his lies, and basically hands a huge thing to the SEC that says, if you want, go get this guy.
Wow.
And so you're going to see Logan Paul just getting absolutely fucking wrecked over the next couple of months. And I'll be surprised if he stays out of jail, honestly, at this point. But it does catch up with you. If you keep scamming and you keep playing the, oh, I wasn't involved card, or I didn't know, or I got scammed just like you did, just know that the blockchain will eventually lead people back to you. All signs come back to you, no matter how much you obfuscated. At some point, something comes back to you, or somebody who's affiliated with you that can lean on you. in a pinch. So don't do bad shit. Just that's what I'm saying. Just don't do bad shit. Like do it the good way.
Yeah. And on
Hey,
that bombshell,
yeah, you got any closing things you want to say, or are you good?
be good people.
Be
Stop
good people.
stop being buttheads.
Let me think. That's a good one. Let me thank a couple of these guys. Hey,
Yeah.
Corey, man, thank you for the $1.47 super chat. We appreciate it. I hope your holidays are good, guys. Hey, we hope your holidays are good too. PJD, thank you for the subscribe. Eric G, thank you for the $2 super chat. He said a little late, but I made it to the stream. Hey, we're always happy to have you, dude. Morph Retro, thank you for the subscribe to the channel. Also, thank you, Robert Settles, again for that $20 super chat or earlier. And Kang Wen, thank you for the $20 super chat. You guys are legends. Thank you for helping us make a little bit and make an honest living, actually. And just right before I wrapped up, there was one thing I did earlier that I forgot about. I want to tell you about really quick. So when we were talking about artwork, I was thinking, how do you get stable? Like, how do you get ChatGPT to do art? Because it can't. It can only do words, right? It only replies in words. So I just decided, just for shits and giggles, when we were talking about it, I was like, hey, could you create ASCII art of Starry Night by Vincent van Gogh? And it created an entire ANSI art of Starry Night and returned it to me in like art you could do in a terminal.
Wow.
So try that. If you guys have ChatGPT, go in there and ask it to draw you art. Like draw me a cupcake or something in ASCII or ANSI graphics, and it does it. So so I'm gonna see if I can find a way to get it to output the content of a JPEG, so I can copy and paste it into a file with .jpg and see if it'll show.
Yeah.
It. If I'm successful, you guys will see it on Twitter. So pay attention on Twitter at Barnacules, at AuxxZillary. We're gonna be posting pictures of all the crazy shit we're doing. So, and on that note, you guys are awesome. We love your face, and we'll catch you next week. Peace out.